Planning Board. That doesn't make any sense. There might be another meeting you want to find somewhere else, but this is the Ayer Planning Board. We need to juggle the agenda a little bit. The agenda calls for a 6:05 public hearing continuation for Rosewood Avenue extension. There was a glitch. The notifications that went out said 7, so we are going to go by the notifications, because that's what the law says we need to do. So we will hold off on the Rosewood Avenue extension public hearing continuation until 7. The applicant's going to be here a little bit later. So if you're here for the Rosewood Avenue extension subdivision discussion, that is going to be a little bit later. And we are going to juggle things. What we are going to talk about is a couple administrative issues.
I do think, though, that you still have to open it and then just continue.
Okay, we can do that.
And then
Then I will do that. Thank you, Jen. And I'm not going to do the, well, I will go ahead and just read it again, just because we have plenty of time.
Is that what was posted in the newspaper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it is in the agenda. So it is 6:05. We will go ahead and open the public hearing for Rosewood Avenue extension. That is the Ayer Planning Board will hold a public hearing to consider the definitive subdivision plan dated January 15th, 2016, located at Rosewood Avenue Extension, Ayer, Mass. The applicant proposes a single lot for the development of a solar photovoltaic generation facility using ground-mounted solar panels. The land is zoned Residence A2. A copy of the application will be on file at the town clerk's office. And again, we are going to move to continue
till 7 p.m.
7 p.m. the public hearing. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And then a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's excellent.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Is that an adjustment to your agenda?
That is an adjustment to the agenda. We haven't.
So you're not changing what you put out in the paper?
No, there's actually now the paper which advertised the original hearing, that's done. We have continued it. The complication was the
paper said 7?
No, the newspaper said 6,
the
but
notice
the
said-
abutters were
right.
notified at 7, which is the applicant's responsibility.
Exactly.
The applicant messed up and put 7. So we're opening it for the purposes of continuing it until the abutters can arrive.
Okay,
Sure.
clear.
What we're going to do is take care of a couple administrative issues, and then we're going to discuss we'll move up the proposed zoning bylaw. There's a couple people in the audience that looks like we want to discuss some, in particular, the signage bylaw. If there is not any, are there any other comments on the agenda?
None being.
None being. Let's move ahead now. The under announcements, Mark, we have 2 seats open on the Ayer Planning Board for this election. One of them is a full term, and the other is to fulfill the 2 years remaining on Rick Roper's term. Rick Roper had to resign, unfortunately. He's moved out of town. My understanding is we have 2 people who have pulled papers, Mark Fermanian and Mr. Jim Fay. And you have until March 4th to pull papers, and I think until March 7th to return them once you have your signatures. Does that ring a bell?
March 4th to poll and March 7th to turn in.
Yep, that's what we got. So that's the announcement. Any other announcements? I have this is an administrative announcement. The Board of Selectmen did, I believe, vote unanimously to appoint Ms. Sandra Bean to the position of Administrative Coordinator. That hopefully is going to solve some of our administrative problems. They are reorganizing the office upstairs with our cooperation. Conservation's going to kind of go in the back, and Ms. Bean's going to be in the front, and she is going to support the building department, provide additional support to conservation, economic development, and planning. I'm going to make some time available in my schedule to show her the ropes as far as planning is concerned. I've not met her. I'm sure I am assured that she'll be great. And I trust that she will be. So that will happen March 1st, and hopefully I can begin to turn over some of the administrative workload that I've been doing over to her. It's,
I do remain a little skeptical that I think it's minimum 20 hours for planning board related stuff.
I am approaching it with an open mind and with optimism, and I do trust that Robert and Carly have this under control. So it's a new year, and I'm sure it's going to work out. But as soon
Well, go
as,
for it.
and I think, we'll see, I don't know, now this person reports to, where are my notes, reports to Robert. This is a person who reports to Robert, not to the planning board. That's different than it was before. It is a full-time position. She definitely will have a workload related to the building department. Building department's a little overloaded with permits and paperwork, regulatory paperwork workload. So that, I think, is going to be her primary task, is to get that under control. And then planning, I suspect, will be number 2. But I'll know more in March, and I'll bring some updates as I have it. Hopefully she'll be, hopefully she'll be at our meetings. I haven't even worked that out, whether she'll be here with us or not. But I will report to the board as I know more.
Thank you.
Let's see. I have one bill which I'd like to consider. This is for RKG Associates, Judy Barrett. She was with us for another meeting. She would like to be paid, against her $6,000 contract, she would like to be paid 33% complete. She has previously billed $450. The balance due, this invoice is $1,500. I see no reason why it should not be paid. Any discussion on Judy Barrett? So the total contract was $6,000. This is related to getting the bylaw to town meeting.
Yeah, that includes 2 of her attendances.
Yes.
One's,
Yes.
yeah, and then
Yep.
1 report and update to the
Yes.
PowerPoint. So that's fine.
And we'll
Motion to pay.
She still owes us 1 more report, though.
yes, and we'll discuss that next.
Yeah, we were supposed to get feedback to her. So,
Absolutely. Yes, that's what we have to do. So I would entertain a motion to pay the invoice to RKDG Associates in the amount of $1,500.
I said that. Motion to pay.
Motion to pay, second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There are no nays, and what we're going to do is, to make accounting happy, we're all going to sign the invoice,
I don't have a pen.
and we'll give Jim a pen.
Now that you're taking minutes,
Yeah.
I don't have to bring a pen.
You know what? There should be, I think, a bill in there from Neshoba, or the Lowell Sun. Wasn't there a bill in there?
Oh, that was a new bill, wasn't it? I was thinking that was an old bill.
No, that just came.
Do you want to run up and get it?
Sure.
I left the door unlocked. It's still in the yellow bill
Okay.
folder. Yep, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Just spent 2 hours. It works painless. They show up everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give that to her, or do you turn it?
That would be great. Yeah, she can get that. She'll give it back to me. Jane's going to be going away for 2 weeks, just so you know. She won't be able to make it to our next meeting. We're waiting for one more bill. I think we're going to turn the floor right over to the discussion of the
Signed by law?
yes, well, in general, we'll start off with the zoning bylaw. We do owe, Judy owes us a report
Yes.
and essentially a final version. We need to release her to produce a final version of the bylaw.
Yep.
For prime time, for release to the public. Now, we recently went through a process, before we had our recent meeting, of getting feedback from departments. Now, in general, I went through the feedback. We had, with the exception of the signage bylaw, the feedback I got was pretty minor. The conservation agent came back. She wanted some tweaks in language. One word, he wanted some tweaks in language. One word replaced for another. Nothing policy driven. I thought that was reasonable. I haven't looked at it. I haven't been able to type it up yet. But
Is it more
I,
housekeeping? Or
yes,
Just changing?
just changing one word, just language choice, especially around, you know, native plants versus non-invasive, that sort of thing. And I,
That's perfectly within the scope. Yeah.
if it's within the scope, if it doesn't change the intent of what we're trying to say, I think that's gonna be fine.
Great.
And they're very minor. Other than that, there was what I call the wish list, and we talked about this before. DPW wanted certain overlay districts considered, and again, I think our direction right now, and Mark Wetzel doesn't necessarily agree with me, but I would like to take care of, as a base, the zoning bylaw we have in front of us,
Yeah.
and let, you know,
Well, we as a board decided that, and we have a very
Yes.
limited scope. So
Absolutely.
know that we can
And we
change
are moving
direction.
forward with, yes, I do think in the future, you know, we have a list.
We have fall town meeting.
We have fall town meeting, we have comprehensive plan update is ongoing. I think Mark Wetzel has some great ideas, and I think we can consider them in the future.
Sorry.
The Board of Selectmen had some concerns, which I'm aware of. I've read through the bylaw. I think the new bylaw addresses their concerns, as Judy said at our recent meeting.
Yeah.
So
What they had to do with the home occupation. And
home occupation,
We addressed
in-law
those.
apartments,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Concerned about, again, there's discussion about whether we need a specific medical marijuana bylaw.
Right.
Once Judy realized we already have a facility, and we went, you know, without having a specific bylaw, we've kind of managed it as a town.
Exactly. And we're also going to refer that to town council. who's
Yes,
also gonna
and
say
there is,
that
in this
we can keep
process,
status quo.
we are going to have a discussion with town council.
Yes.
And then and we also resolved, as we'll discuss at 7, the question of solar facilities. That it's the opinion of town council. Well, we may or may not actually, but it's the opinion of town council that there is a exemption in the statute
Right.
for solar energy, and that zoning bylaw, our local zoning bylaw should not
Address it.
impact it.
Yeah.
So all those are on the list, so we've made progress in dealing with those questions.
Mhm.
I think we're about ready to tell Judy to tie it up and move forward. What we will discuss right now, or what has come up, I'm sorry,
Are you planning to put it into a formal memo?
yes,
Or-
I will do
I
that.
didn't know if you were
'Cause
expecting
we
me
need
to
to,
relay this to her
and,
tonight, or?
Yeah, we can't, I'm not quite ready for it
Okay,
tonight.
no,
I was
that's fine.
trying, but we're not quite ready. We'll be ready for our next
I'll wait to
meeting.
hear from you.
Yep. Actually, we'll take care of this bill first, and then we'll move on to the signage bylaw discussion, because that's come up since we last had it.
Excuse me.
This is an invoice from the Sun. This is for the legal notifications for,
Is it the zoning workshop?
this is the newspaper advertisements for the Rosewood, the public hearing that's being continued tonight. It needs to be passed back to the applicant. So I need to follow up. It's something that the applicant should be paying, but we do need to approve it for payment. It was for 2 ads. They ran, I don't have the dates in front of me, but I'm
They're
sure.
right on there, I think the 21st and 28th.
That's the
It's-
28th, yes.
Yeah, and the 21st.
And the 21st, that makes sense, 7 days, yes, that's right. The total amount is $177.76. So I would entertain a motion to pay the Sun in the amount of $177.76.
Is that what?
So
let me-
moved.
No, let me see that.
2 ads, total $177.76.
Yeah, it's the current amount due is
Oh, okay.
170.76.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
Yeah, and the
Okay.
ads that ran were the 21st and the 28th
that's
of
right.
January.
Okay, okay.
all right.
I thought it was a
Move to
different
approve
amount.
payment of the bill for 177.
When he moved it.
Second then.
Second, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Okay, who moved?
Uh,
I did.
Jen,
Jen
Okay.
moved, and
she beat Mark to the punch this time.
Jeff
Yeah.
second.
Do we move that the applicant pays.
And I
Oh,
need
so we don't need
Yeah.
to,
I'll deal with that, yeah.
so you need to.
Is there a
sign
we do
working
need
pen?
signatures.
She just took my working pen, this one doesn't work.
Sorry. Oh. Well, actually, that doesn't work, so.
Okay. Thank you. And we're passing those bills to you, Jane, but you'll pass them back to me because you're going out of town,
Yeah,
right?
because I'm not gonna be here,
Right, look where it's
so
from.
here.
So we'll pass it back to me and I'll
Yeah.
take care of that. Thank you.
We had too much fun at these meetings.
All right. As part of our zoning bylaw discussion, as part of the proposed zoning bylaw, we have a new signage bylaw. What has happened, and again, I apologize, I don't have all the details, maybe some of you folks could know more about it than me. There has been an effort on the part of the building department to strictly enforce our existing signage bylaws, specifically, well, in a couple of regards.
Decorative lights.
We have in the existing zoning bylaw and in the proposed zoning bylaw a prohibition for string lights, except I've included in your packet a copy of both the old one and the new one. Essentially, string lights are banned except for Christmas. Period.
It says that in the bylaw.
String lights, exhibit 9.5.3, prohibited signs, section C. String lights are used on commercial premises in connection with commercial purposes other than Christmas decorations.
That's your new bylaw, the old one's 8.5.
I'm
The
sorry.
old one, yes.
Thank you. It was in my right hand. Yeah.
Now, the question has been raised to me as to why is that in the signage bylaw at all. I actually do see, I can see a situation where a business might put up string lights that are unappealing to neighbors, to the town in general, big honking ugly things. And I think that probably, some people have said, well, it's a distraction to motorists. I don't think that's the reason why we have that prohibition. I do think, and it's not necessarily something, it is, I think some people might have a reasonable concern that a business might try to advertise with something that's unsightly, that is overwhelming, that doesn't really comply with town standards in general. Now, in general, our zoning bylaw doesn't. Some towns have zoning bylaws that are very subjective and do go there, do try to regulate what things all look like. In general, ours does not. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as I've been on the board, we've tried to steer clear of telling people.
Well, to me, it's always been about flashing lights, neon lights.
Yes, when we're talking
Those are
about,
the types of things that we want to try to control.
I've always said we don't want to be Vegas.
Right.
And I don't think anyone can disagree with that. We don't want to be Vegas. At the same time, and again, I did have a conversation with we've hired a new employee in the building department. His name is Charlie Schultz. I think he's a part-time employee. But part of his task list was to go through the bylaw and to improve enforcement. Now, he does not work for this board, I'll be clear. He works under the town administrator and the board of selectmen. To the extent that this has been
So he's basically zoning enforcement.
he's zoning enforcement.
Does he work for the building department?
He works for Gabe Valente is our building commissioner. He's
Right.
basically the assistant, Gabe's
Oh,
assistant.
okay.
And he's
All
been
right.
tasked with greater zoning enforcement.
What, does the bylaw say string lights?
Yes.
It
or
says
does
string lights.
I'm sorry, it's section J here. String lights used in connection with commercial premises to commercial purposes other than Christmas decorations. So it's
I think it's silly.
I do too. Now,
I do too, but I do agree that it can go a little crazy. But for one, I
If
mean,
it's neon
I
flashing
liked.
lights, I agree with you.
Right,
But
right.
for people to hang string lights or icicles,
Yeah.
We have people all the time that do that.
We have
I have them in my house all year long.
Well, I think too,
is
maybe
also commercial
whether it's
district.
inside or outside. I mean,
Well,
the string lights that are being hung downtown to me are just creating ambiance inside
Yeah, look at
the restaurant. I think it's done,
Marco's.
it's done
Well,
tastefully.
not
That's what
Marco's,
he's
the-
talking about.
But then
He's
you
got
look at
the nice-
Tiny's, those are
nice
strung
lights, it's
outside.
beautiful.
Now, let me,
Yeah.
now, this question
Although
comes up
it was
because.
nostalgic to me at Tiny's. I liked it
Yeah.
personally.
This question comes up because, and I apologize, I don't have the letter. Does anyone have the letter, a letter?
It's
You
just,
just heard about it? You're here for that.
I should have.
The-
Yeah, I just wanted to hear what other people
There was at
thought.
least one letter that went out, it was a warning letter. It was essentially saying, you got two.
that was going to be my next question. Was all of this? It wasn't brought about via a
Actually,
letter of
and-
complaint.
And,
Well, let me-
And the
No.
proprietor of Tiny's I ran into at the
Yes.
transfer station also happened to comment, not knowing we were involved.
Mhm.
It was, we were talking about Christmas lights. She says, yeah, I got a letter. So she
So-
got a fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think there was something in the paper.
Well, now, my understanding is, and I might be wrong about this, is all of them were warnings. They're, and, you know, the next step is a,
They were
Second letter.
misinterpreted, but I understand,
and I
yeah.
think there's a third letter before there's a fine, and don't quote me on the fine, it's not
Oh.
a huge fine. And then the process involves the zoning board of appeals, where you would appeal a fine. Now, this is not a new bylaw that just came on the books. This is something that's been on the books, and it's simply being enforced now, when before I think we just used some common sense. and I don't want to be judgmental, and that was kind of judgmental. I don't want, you know, Charlie is doing his job.
He's doing his job.
He's doing his job.
Absolutely.
I think, from my perspective on this planning board, I would like him to do less of his job.
Maybe not be so aggressive in the
I would like,
of
as
the
a,
string
I'm not
lights.
sure that was the right word, but I think we all agree in sentiment.
right. I would like now, and now you got two letters, and that this is a little bit bigger than string lights.
Yours also.
Yes, yeah, Calvin got them.
Yeah.
There's
Now-
about 14 altogether.
Now, but they're not all just string lights. Am I right? This is, or are we just talking about string lights at this point?
Everybody who got the letter was,
String lights. There is
What
another.
is a string light?
It's Christmas light on Calvin's
Yeah.
building along
Icicles?
the icicles.
Those
Yes.
icicles,
Yep.
or the ones that you
That's-
wrap around a tree? I think it's all
that's part of-
gray and
that's
it,
part
It
of
is.
the
It's a
debate.
very gray.
yeah, it's stupid.
If you look,
I'll go on record in saying that's stupid.
I'm sorry.
I said, that's part of the debate,
Yes.
the signage doesn't identify what a string light is.
Exactly.
If you look at the only string lighting I've actually seen is on the pillars in front of the Hallmark store. That's string lighting,
Well, I think the string lighting is lights on a string.
all right? But by the
And
same.
there's no
Maybe.
string on any of them, it's wire.
Which
So
is-
it's stupid.
I'm assuming if you say how many. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
All of them have the string.
It's
lights.
and personally, I think some of them are kind of attractive. I mean, you're talking about Lucia's. It's kind of
Well,
nice. It's
decoration.
ambiance.
Yeah.
It's
In the cheese,
decoration.
it breaks the
It's
outside
not
from the
a
inside.
sign.
Yeah.
And it's not on the
You know you're
outside.
in the establishment. It's
It's
pretty
great.
nice.
But that's the whole point, it's a decoration, it's not a sign. If you
Cal-
take that string lighting and make a name or a design of some sort,
I
now
agree.
you're
That
talking
becomes
about a
signage.
sign.
Yes.
100%. And that is embodying your
Yeah.
business.
Well,
A light
that's right, that's
doesn't.
your ambiance, and you turn around and you're going to prohibit, for example, Tiny's, he gets a warning for the Christmas lights. Now, these are the people we ask for money for Christmas lights, and we're gonna tell them, you can't put yours up? There's something wrong here.
Absolutely asinine.
So,
Yeah.
but the problem, part of the issue, even though the bylaw is a pretty broad brush, the interpretation from the building department might not be dead center.
I think, and this has been on the books a long time. Christmas lights have moved forward a lot
Right.
in what they are in the last decade alone. The old big glass bulbs we dealt with, now with the LEDs, there's a lot more things you can do with them, but they're not quite as intrusive either.
But
I read a lot of these and I see, you can't hang red lights to stop signs and stuff.
Absolutely.
I can see where that might be an issue. Sorry, but Christmas is an inappropriate term.
It is, yeah, you're absolutely right. And
But we'll get to that conversation later.
still in
That's
the
a whole
bylaw.
different issue. I think
I'm
Christmas
not gonna
is.
argue that, but that's, you know.
We need to fix that.
So
Well,
they're
do
not
we-
Christmas lights anymore, now they're Easter lights.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be Fourth of July lights, and then,
I have a list of 27 different holidays where people can hang lights in a condominium association because they are recognizing an event on an important calendar. So it's a slippery slope.
Just about, well, then it sounds to me like
And that's
you
only 2 towns
need
away.
to rewrite the bylaw.
Well, it's already going to be addressed under Judy's, and I'm
that's,
sure
that's one
she
sentence we can remove
we-
if this board agrees to do that.
We're at, which would be J, 8.5 point.
This is
9.5.
Well, we actually,
9.5 in the.
well, let's
That's a new one.
there is another part of this, and again, I'm not aware of what letters have gone out or not, because I did have a I sat down with Charlie Schultz, who drafted these letters. So I knew about the string light issue. But there's a bigger discussion. I'm sorry, Calvin, you had something to?
Yeah, we got the letters also, and it was kind of forceful. I was kind of taking offense to it.
Calvin, for billiards?
For what?
For
What
the billiards
signs?
and for the Pagemore building.
Okay.
And I talked to Charlie, and I says, hey, I'm here, I'm responding to you, so don't come stabbing me later. And he says, just write a letter to the zoning board and see if you can get I'm not gonna use the right word, a special permit or a variance.
Yeah, you wanted a variance. Now,
something
that's
like that.
the very
And
expensive.
that's really almost the route you have to go to until you get rid of the bylaw. And I don't know if that's a town meeting issue or not, but, you know, I'm glad to hear you guys having a lot of common sense on this issue.
Well, what exactly were you?
String lights.
Was he talking about
Where
the
were they
the
at?
scrolls that you go have going down
string
the?
lights.
String
And it
lights.
said pool hall on the letter. It didn't say billiards cabinet, it said pool hall. Now, I have some in the back deck so people
Oh,
can see.
okay.
The Chia's got one for the front of the building.
Right.
Does she have a permit for those, I'm curious? Because they're in the lights, they're in the windows constantly.
Yes.
But they're inside the building, they can do anything they want.
No, not according to the current bylaw.
No,
You can see them
The
from the
new one
street.
is extra.
Sign's a sign, whether it goes through the window.
I think he's enforcing the outside or the inside.
Well, the G's are definitely on the inside, right?
They've
Well,
been
you
there
also
forever.
have the, well, are they lit, but you have the icicles along the.
Yeah, we don't have streetlights on our side of the road.
Right. Again, I'm not arguing with you. It is a, honestly, I did have a conversation with Charlie. I don't believe we shouldn't be putting the building commissioner on the spot to be making an aesthetic judgment. And that is what kind of has happened. Yes, Sam?
I talked to, when this first came about, I thought we had to do something about it. And the only recourse, according to the letter, is for the recipient to take it to the ZBA. Okay? So I asked Carly what the vehicle was. In actuality, it is a full-blown hearing.
It is. Oh, absolutely.
About $400
Yes.
worth of.
Right. That's absolutely
make
it, and
sense.
that doesn't make sense.
And it's a state law, so we can't change that.
Oh, and it's not it's part of our bylaw, our town's bylaw, but it has gone unenforced for years. There, you know, the
Well, the recourse? No, the recourse is a state law.
recourse, well, again, no one has been violated yet. You've only gotten warning notices, is that correct? You haven't gotten a piece of paper that says you owe us a bill?
No, but we're trying to prevent that.
Yes, and we are too.
I would,
Jim Fay?
I'm
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, Jim.
Yeah, just throw something out for consideration. If I were to say to you that the string lights on the columns at Ayer Billiards and/or
Yep.
lights around Tiny's
Yep.
and/or string lights
Yep.
on any commercial development were in fact, and I would say to Charlie, well, those are out there for public safety. I dare say that the law doesn't apply.
That's one way that we can, again,
And
common
I
sense,
think
get
that's
around
why
this.
the lights are out there, are they not, Calvin?
Say again, please?
They're out there for safety so people can see?
Yeah, we don't have streetlights on our side.
It's, when you say string lights for commercial purposes, that tells me maybe it belongs in the signage, but if what we're identifying here as a violation is not used as, Sam indicated, they're not
Yeah.
strung out to spell shop at Kmart, it doesn't apply.
And I go back
If
to,
I were to
And-
get that letter, I would
and-
say, the lights that are out there are for public safety at night.
And I would want a absolute description of what a string light is.
Right.
Well,
Because there is no string
Yeah.
in those.
When I looked at the new bylaw, and it pretty much images
Same
the.
thing.
Yeah, it's about the
existing
same thing,
bylaw.
yep.
There's nothing in there, there's no description, I mean, there's 3 pages of signage descriptions in the definitions.
Mhm.
But you don't even see the word string light till you hit the don't do.
Yeah.
Right? So now, tell me what it is that I can't do.
Exactly.
So you need to define, A, what a string light is,
Right.
and how it affects the signage.
See,
I mean, you got banners and trailer signs and every other damn thing. You want to put something in there about a string light, you know, just a plain string light is not a sign.
Okay,
I think
Yeah.
we're all on the
yeah,
same
and
page.
I think, I'm just thinking about lights in the past, you know, the old lights that ran, they
Mhm.
chased each other around the sign,
Well, unfortunately,
Things
I do
like
think
that,
that this
which we don't see anymore.
Charlie Schultz is going to be a very
Charlie Schultz.
unpopular guy. I mean, you can't pick and choose which
it's an
enforcement you're going
unpopular
to do.
job.
You got
I
to go
think they
through it
probably
all.
hired the right
and,
guy for the job.
It's,
You know, common sense doesn't necessarily. He's just got to enforce.
Well, and
what he's been given
that's,
to do.
that's right, but we can also tell him, I'm just gonna say, we can tell him not to enforce this. We
I
can.
don't think
No,
we
you can't tell them
We
not to
can't.
enforce it, you
No.
can tell them to use your judgment.
Yes,
Well, is
and
there
I,
such a thing as open and notorious in, you know, because like if you can take land by open and notorious use of it.
no, not here.
But if it's gone unenforced for a long, long time, is there?
Well,
I
do
think
think.
what we should do is write a letter to the
I
select.
can.
And then have the
yes,
select, I think they're the ones
yes,
to.
we are, that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And there's another part. Now, and again, you could take our existing zoning bylaw and you could probably go around town and look behind fences and look in people's backyards. And if you wanted to strictly enforce every letter of the zoning bylaw, you could probably come up with a lot of stuff.
I probably don't have to leave my property.
Right, absolutely. And so,
That's not true if anybody else is.
the Board of Selectmen, in appointing Charlie to this position and in, giving him a mission has, they have set a policy to enforce the existing bylaw. So I do think we should send a letter to the Board of Selectmen pointing out
Yeah.
our position, which is that this particular bylaw, prohibition of string lights, is not something that the planning board, I don't even know, I will draft.
I see this being difficult to uniformly enforce, number one. Number two, this is an opportunity when we write the bylaw to actually get the input of the people who put lights out there for lots of different reasons besides come use my product.
Right.
You know, be safe on my property is not a bad reason to have a sign, to have lights of some sort. So maybe a dialogue of some sort, you know, because I imagine right now, we get a handful of different reasons why the lights are there.
Well, especially now
Yeah.
too with the nuisance bylaw that passed at the
Yes.
past fall town
So-
meeting. You know, it's
And that's a
we're
nightmare.
gonna have
The
a lot of
nuisance-
angry people soon.
Nuisance bylaw is a nightmare as well,
So-
because it's in many ways
Do we even know if that
unenforceable.
got approved yet by the
It
attorney?
did get approved. I think it had a problem with the town attorney and enforceability issues. I think it didn't quite work out as they hoped. Don't quote me on that, but that's my understanding.
Anyway,
Now,
so what do you suggest we want to
As
do?
far
on
as now specifically the string lights issue, I think if you folks can trust me, I will write a letter to the Board of Selectmen as the chairman of the planning board. I think I understand what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
If you'd like a definition of lights, I've got a couple we had to write.
There you go.
And,
Nice.
and
Thank you.
attorneys have already done the work on them. I can probably dig them
Right.
up for you. From
So
my
I'll
background.
pass it back to you.
Do you
but
have for
maybe for
inside
some
and outside
feedback.
as well? You think?
I spent hours on this
Yeah.
every holiday season. Yeah.
Now let's.
One person's beauty is not another
It-
person's
absolutely true.
acceptable use.
Now, this is not going to be just, this is going to come up again, because I did talk to Charlie. Now, Charlie also has taken issue, our existing bylaw and the new bylaw is fairly temporary signage for businesses is something that has come up. Those might be, we actually have a table that describes them. Temporary generally means 30 days, and when a sign is out there for more than 30 days, the building inspector can take issue. Now, one thing, for example, you folks have what's called an A-frame chalkboard, something like that. Charlie doesn't like them. He says they do not comply with the zoning bylaw because they are temporary, but you haven't gotten this letter, have you?
No.
Okay.
Just wait.
I know he's had some discussion with other vendors around town, again, I kind of like your sign, the chalk sign, and I
Brings
do.
people in.
It does.
What business do you want?
Union Coffee Roaster.
Yes, I'm sorry. You want to introduce yourselves?
Beautiful
I'm
shop.
Carrie. This is Jesse Medley.
From Union Coffee Roasters.
You're not in there every day?
Not every day, but I've been in there
You're
twice.
not
So
either.
it's-
But I don't drink coffee, you
I
guys know it.
And I understand you're taking interest in the downtown civic, the Main Street Business Association, maybe, or you're just here on your own?
Oh,
You're not representing anybody but yourself?
No, no,
Okay,
no.
great.
No, I don't claim that at all.
This may or may not come up again. Again, the building inspector is taking, but banners are also considered a temporary sign. I take across the street, Air Nails has too many signs. The building inspector is getting out his measuring tape. Again, the building inspector, Charlie Schultz in particular, is taking a very hard look at the restrictions of temporary signage. And again, we might have to, as a board, in looking at the new bylaw, come up with some, I don't want to, he's being a little too harsh on the businesses, I think.
I do agree with
I
that.
think,
I think it's almost coming across.
There
as
can be too much. There is a
unfriendly.
point where you have too much signage and it's unsightly and gaudy even. I don't necessarily, what's that?
Like Subway.
Again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but.
I'm assuming you take your chalkboard sign, close it up, and take it in when you
At
walk up
night,
at
right.
night. So,
But I don't believe as a town, and I'm sure the Board of Selectmen would agree, that we have collectively decided to empower a building inspector to go after businesses in some of the ways that they are currently. I think that's safe to say.
I think it's important to walk a line between aesthetics, which is difficult to describe.
Yes.
Giving businesses the opportunity to advertise their wares,
Yes.
if you need that, and working with somebody, and I run into this because I hire people who go and do violations on properties. You don't want to rein them in, but you kind of want to work with them. You want to empower them, help them along the way, make them be successful, but also not cause such a dust up that the real work doesn't get done.
I agree.
So it's a difficult balance to me. It really is.
Sam, and again, for the viewing audience at home, this is Sam Goodwin. He's chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals. He's helping us out here too.
Trying. I don't disagree with the enforcement process. What I do think is we need to be a little better, what's a good word? Descriptive in our zoning bylaw to take the ambiguity out of the bylaw. Give them some specifics to work with. Now, I know that's kind of hard to do because you've got 10,000 different variations from a bylaw. But with enough guidance to fill in the blanks of what we're missing here, it would eliminate some of the probabilities that we're going to be faced with.
Yes. This is a big one, though. This is, again, the,
We have the data. We sent out 14 letters.
Yes.
We can actually
Absolutely.
we can actually see what the infractions were. There may be some in there that, quite honestly, and I don't know the people, and I don't want to upset anybody, they might actually be an infraction that we would like to have enforced.
Is there a way that we
Yes.
could have this gentleman come in and meet with the planning board and maybe, segment the zoning into sections so that he's getting some input from us as he proceeds section by section?
Well, I did have a meeting with him, and certainly, yes.
And
we
it gives
did,
us
but
the
he was here at our last
opportunity
meeting,
to go to
actually.
a fall town meeting or a spring town meeting to address some of those before he
Absolutely.
goes charging,
Absolutely. I'd be happy to have Charlie in here at a future point. But what I can do now,
Because
and
we're
I-
going to become a reactive board if he keeps going with these letters, and I
You
don't
are
necessarily.
reactive now.
Oh, exactly, and that's what I'm trying to see if we can maybe bring him in and head that off.
I do, again, I don't want to tell anybody not to do their job, but this is the first time it's been a problem. I've been here for 5 years, listened to this chair for 5 years, we're on this table, and hasn't come up yet. So it is the problem has been created recently, so I do think we can have some dialogue with the Board of Selectmen and maybe.
I mean, when did these letters go out, and when did we have our all boards
About a
discussion?
month ago.
That's the part that I'm missing. It's like, why didn't?
I was aware.
Judy could have maybe have changed some of that when she was here, and, you know, she's not aware of the sign being an issue, or the lights, excuse me.
I was aware. I even before our omnibus meeting, I had talked to Charlie before that, so I was aware this was coming. I just wanted to see how it played out. Now I know how it played
I
out.
guess it still would be nice to see his wish list in advance, because if it's just something, a simple wording that can be changed.
I have that. I do have that, and that's
Maybe
again
we-
that's part of this discussion. I will again. I got to type that up, but I do. It's a scratch.
Let's
list.
better have to take a peek at it, because if it's not beyond the scope and it's just a,
Like for example, yeah, we have a table. We have a table that says yes, no, yes between our zoning. I'm looking at it right now. You know, if it's a changing a Y to an N, and that's within the policy realm. So that's a discussion for maybe even our next meeting. But what I will do after this meeting is draft a letter. Jeff will help me out regarding string lights in particular.
I think, so we're in a position right now where the letters have gone out, the enforcement is in place. We can't turn over that enforcement, so I have a feeling at this point, we're at a spot where we're at, unfortunately. I feel for you guys, I like the lights. I mean, I know, seriously, they told me that I was giving him a hard time because he's climbing around on a ladder one day. But, and we'll have to figure out how we're gonna go forward with it.
It's really gonna be a bylaw change.
Oh, yes, we have a brand new bylaw, and we're open to changing it. That a bylaw has to go to town meeting, zoning bylaw
But-
needs 2/3 of vote, but we are in the process of doing that.
Before we get too involved in that, I think maybe if we just interpret it the correct way.
Yes.
We don't have to change anything.
This is part of the
What is a
discussion.
I think that's
string?
why- yeah, right.
What is a string?
Right.
What is, I think we're making too much of a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Let's just interpret it correctly and pass it along.
okay.
Is that a good idea?
Again, yeah, we'll go with Jim Fay first, please.
Yeah, along that line, is not the ZBA the arbiter of this?
Yes,
And have any of the 14 letters hit the ZBA yet?
no, because
As I thought,
they're
no.
only warning.
Right, so.
Right.
I would think that the ZBA is going to say, look, this is, to use a better description, a frivolous complaint. Therefore, it doesn't rise to a violation. So I don't know if we're premature in changing the bylaw, but I can see where some clarification is needed. But for now, I would say the ZBA is certainly the ones going to say, look, this is frivolous. And does not Charlie report, based on those findings, back to you ultimately? Because the zoning enforcement officer still works with the planning board, correct?
Yes.
Even though they're appointed by the Board of Selectmen, that's a separate.
Yes, so we need the information so we can change the bylaw if necessary.
Right, so.
What's
When it, to Mark's point, we questioned the interpretation of the zoning bylaw when these letters first came out, and the building department stood fast on their interpretation.
right? I know. Yep.
Okay, pushback. Nope, this is the way we read it, this is the way we interpret it. So the only reasonable recourse in that respect is to change the bylaw. Now, again, like I said earlier, the letters stated for appeals, you have to go through the full ZBA process, and again, that's very pricey
Right.
for someone hanging string lights, and I don't think,
Right.
that's not, that's wrong, but that's.
Although should it reach a point where it's a warning now, there'll be a second warning letter if you get a violation with you have to pay a $300 ticket, and then you appeal to the ZBA. That's the process, and the ZBA can say this is a frivolous enforcement.
I can do that, we can do that for the person, whatever entity comes forward.
Yep. Yep.
It's not a broad brush.
It's not a broad brush. They all have to go through the same.
They all have to
Yeah,
go
and
through the
hopefully
same
we can. And again, it seems common sense says we can hit that. We can do something about this. So we'll give that.
Just to follow, does that not send the signal then to the zoning enforcement officer? don't be trying to enforce frivolous
Right.
interpretation.
That's where we're going, and
I'd
so
be cautionary on using the word frivolous.
I won't use frivolous.
Yeah,
Uh,
you don't
I don't want,
to
no,
I think what we ought to do is, as a planning board, if it's coming back to us, is give, I don't think there's a good description of string lights. I think as a planning board, we should have a description and say, okay, if it's not promoting the business, if it's just decoration that could be used any time of the year, leave it alone. If it is
Well,
promoting the business in a Vegas way, as you say, then that's a whole different thing.
right, okay.
All
And
right.
I think
But everybody uses.
Jeff said that he's got some.
Yeah, we've got, I know,
Specifics to
in
that.
in the hundreds of
And
properties.
I-
we have, we've
So
got
things are
something
not
that they can
offending.
use.
I'm
And it
sure
has to be-
other towns have been through this.
Complimentary.
You know,
Other
it's-
towns, I'm sure we can.
We don't have the information on why, what the, what
I
was
think
the
the
reason
town of
for
Concord
enforcement
actually
and
has
how he chose it.
a light
Nobody's
bylaw
supposed to
on it, I
figure
think,
this out.
which
You know,
includes
and I
Christmas
just,
lights.
this is.
All right.
We can never stop talking about this and never solve the problem
Yeah.
also.
All right, so we are going to record this for the minutes. We don't need a vote on anything. I will write a letter. I think
Okay,
we're all in
so
agr- I think we're all going the same
Jeremy's
direction.
writing a letter.
I'm going to write a letter to the Board of Selectmen and to the Building Commissioner, and we'll see, I can't imagine this is going to become a huge fight. But I think we can return to a state of using our common sense with
And
this. I think.
if there's one instance out there that really is glaringly bad, let's know about it before we
Right.
try and rewrite the bylaw. So-
And nobody from Tiny's is here, but Tiny's doesn't have the little white lights. They have the big colorful lights. Who are the big colorful bulbs bad and the little white ones good? I don't want to go there.
Need help with that.
Oh, yes, great, thank you. Thank
So
you.
when do the
Appreciate it.
selectmen meet next? 2 weeks?
2 more weeks. So yes, I can do that right away. I'll do that. I'll do that letter right away. All right, any more, and again, this is, I need to have a discussion. This is not going to be news to Robert. I do think Carly and Robert in the town administrator's office have generally said there's a process to this. You need to go to ZBA. I'd like to, I don't want this to have to
No,
go.
yeah.
I don't want to send people
It's
to ZBA.
expensive to go
This
to
is a good
ZBA.
use of ZBA's time.
Right.
Can I ask one quick question? I know, Calvin, you had external lights, but Jesse and Carrie, yours were inside the house, inside. So they were visible through the windows.
Oh, so
Right,
you were
as
cited,
our-
you were
our-
cited for lights as well as
You also
the...
have curtains
the-
in the windows, correct?
Yeah.
You've
they're,
got curtains
like,
inside the
hanging in
windows
front of
also.
curtains even.
So they were hanging inside the curtains, inside. You know how Union's got the round corner on it?
Yeah.
And they were just hanging inside the curtains inside. So that, to me, that's right there with
Same with
Lucia's
Lucia's.
across the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And-
and it's not just,
I think
not
Bush's
because you
was
did that, it's
inside.
just, it seems like there's somewhere in, somewhere out. And you had white lights very similar to the vertical white lights in Lucia's. So
Right.
we gotta think about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
question.
okay.
What happened to the 6:05 meeting on solar field?
We opened it
That's-
to continue it because we heard that the abutters were notified at 7, so we just wanted to,
It's going to happen at 7.
it's still open,
So at
it's just
7
being
tonight?
continued.
It's at 7, yeah, that's next.
Yeah.
If you had been here on time, you would
I
have
was.
you would have heard it.
So any more discussion on the signage bylaw?
No.
Okay, great.
I do have one question
Okay.
about a bylaw.
Yes.
Interesting point of fact is we had a variance come before us for an accessory
Not me
building.
this time.
And it was cited because the building was in the front yard versus the back.
Yes.
Why did we do that, or?
And I do believe, I don't know if you took a look at the new bylaw, I think that's covered in the new bylaw.
It still says front.
All right.
It says the ancillary building is in the side or rear.
Right, it does.
So those people who have, for lack of a better term, sheds, and they're on a corner lot, they're kind of out of luck.
Right.
So I think that's something we should revisit because there's an issue there.
So we had this problem in my last burg,
Yeah.
and you had to declare what the back of the lot was,
Well, we looked at this
which
individual.
would solve some of the problems. It's not a panacea.
Well, no, it's if you I know it's an individual issue, but if you look at how a building is placed on a lot,
Right.
if the backyard is inadequate to place said shed, then your alternatives are front yard variance. I mean,
Yeah.
again, so I wanted to bring it up.
Okay.
You have to jump through some hoops, but it opens up a little bit of possibility.
Well,
Yeah.
what you end up doing is paying an extra $400 for the shed to get it put in the right place,
Yeah.
or get it put where you want it. And I really didn't think we needed to do that.
That's probably a different, just, the last place, that's what they did. They didn't like sheds, period. They would do whatever they could to not
Well,
have it.
listen, it was nicely placed, it was not out in your face.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter is, one of the neighbors complained about it, and the homeowner was cited. Because it was in the quote front yard instead of the backyard, and it's in the front yard because of the layout of the corner lot. When you do a front yard, you do it on both streets. So now all of a sudden,
Well, that's how they just declare on paper, this will be my front yard, this will be my side, my back. I mean, that's just basically what they did.
no, on
And
the
I think
corner
we've
lot,
done
you
that in
don't do that.
Well, no, this is how
Yeah,
it's
it's considered
accepted.
all frontage.
This is how they chose to interpret on the corner lot that you could declare a certain. And again, when you're in a multi-family district, you have setbacks you have to meet, front, side, and back.
Right.
Turn the house.
In this town, if it's a corner lot,
Yeah.
it goes both directions.
Mhm.
So,
All
I
right.
like what he's saying, just declare it. This is my
Yeah, I
back
think
line.
it's come up before too. So yes, let me,
I don't know how
I'm
you
gonna
handled
take
the
back,
past,
take a
but-
look at my notes. I hear you, yep. I'm gonna take a look at my notes because I know that's come up. All right?
Wouldn't the front be based on where the post office delivers the mail? No?
I don't think so. It's
No.
not
Where
a
the
post
front
office.
door is.
It's not based where, and when you get to the point where you have density, where parking goes underneath the buildings, it's no longer the driveway or the front walk because of setback. We're not gonna get there for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Moving
density will
along.
start.
All right,
density
moving
starts
right
forcing.
along. We are going to, we're actually waiting on the applicant for the public hearing for the Rosewood Avenue Extension definitive subdivision. He's got some new drawings. I got drawings up here. He's due at 7, so he should be here any minute. So if you, ladies and gents, need to use the restroom, want to stretch your legs.
Was Cal Goldsmith already here?
No, I called him ahead of time. I head him off at the pass because it was his mistake. He said 7 instead of 6. Yeah, we worked it out.
What, beer?
And you're excused because you had a prior commitment. Good to see you, Jen.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was the 14th, but thank you.
Yeah, comments of the,
You know, the applicant's coming.
29, then?
The applicant's
I
gonna,
like that.
I want the copy of.
the Air Planning Board. This is a continuation of a hearing that was open at our last week.
2 weeks.
Forgive me, February 4th, the public hearing was open. At that point, we had a little glitch. Neighbors had not been yet notified. Judging by the crowd, I think about our notices went out. So we are going to continue the public hearing for the Rosewood Avenue extension. Oh, we have plans to look at, great. And I will again read the legal notice for everyone's benefit. The Air Planning Board will hold a public hearing to consider the definitive subdivision plan dated January 15th, 2016, located at Rosewood Avenue Extension, Air, Mass. The applicant proposes a single lot for the development of a solar voltaic generation facility using ground-mounted solar panels. The land is zoned Residence A2. A copy of the application will be on file at the town clerk's office. We've opened the hearing. We'll close the hearing, and then we're going to review the specifics of the site plan application for the solar development itself. And I'm going to pass it on. We've got a crowd. We did go through the development last time. We'll go through it again. Nope, we have. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Are those copies for us to get while you're talking?
No, these are for the site plan itself. Everything I'm talking about is going to be up on that screen.
It's going to be on that screen up there. I have one extra copy if you want to take a few.
Bring a magnifying glass.
It's hard. It can be a little difficult to read, but I think Calvin will be able to answer all your questions, I'm sure.
Do my best.
If you could,
For the record, my name is Cal Goldsmith. I'm with Goldsmith, Preston, Greenwald. We're civil engineers on the street. Everybody Billiards Cafe. The project we're talking about is a large piece of land, about 36 acres, right at the end of Rosewood Avenue. I'm going to switch to the next. There you go. Nope. Please, quick.
very sensitive
So,
machine.
But this is a plan of the existing conditions of the site. What we're talking about is this large parcel of land. I'll go back to this one for a minute. Right in this area at the end of Rosewood, and another parcel of land right above it that's owned by Calco right now. And the plan is for Calco, who owns this piece of land up here, to purchase this piece of land and tie the two of them together as one lot. And then, in order to have a lot in town, you have to have 100 feet of frontage. We've only got about 54, 55 feet of frontage at the end of Rosewood. So that's what the subdivision is all about. And everybody freaks out when they hear about subdivision. Under Mass General Law, really what subdivision means is it means you're creating frontage on a street, on a legal road. So we've got a wetland that runs right through here. Obviously there's a big beaver pond here. But there's a wetland that runs right through here. All we really need to do to create frontage is to put a bulb on the end of Rosewood Avenue, but that would have meant that the entire frontage was in the wetlands. So instead of doing that, we talked to the building inspector, he said extend it a little bit so that the outer edge of the bulb of this cul-de-sac hits on upland, out of the wetlands, in order to satisfy the requirement for accessible frontage. So what we're effectively doing is we're creating one big building lot. So there's no house lots here, we're not talking about anything like that. In order to build on this parcel of land, which is where the solar is going to go, we have to have legal frontage. This land has no legal frontage. But if we combine it with this piece of land, then it does have legal frontage that we're creating by doing the subdivision right here. So the plan is, the public hearing is to create the subdivision. And again, it's a single lot. This whole big thing is one single lot. And then there'll be a driveway that comes through and goes up to here where the solar is over here, and this triangle up here. We're not doing anything south of this easement, south of the power lines,
Right now.
ever. Because we're only creating a single building lot. If we were gonna try and do something down here, and believe me, there's a ton of wetlands here, there's wetlands all in through here, I just don't see how it could happen. But if in the future somebody figured out how to build on wetlands, we would still have to come back to the planning board, have a public hearing, subdivide this further in order to create additional frontage for another lot.
The area that you're talking about.
I'm sorry, just 1 minute, just for clarification, if we could let Calvin give his whole presentation, and then I'll let the public ask some
Okay,
questions. Is
then.
that all right? Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So this is the overall site. Again, this is the land owned by Calfield's Trust. I said Calfield, it's actually Calfield's Trust. This is the land owned by the Wood family right now that Calfield Trust is going to purchase in order to combine into one big building lot. And then the plan is we're going to put a gate right at the end on our property, right at the end of Rosewood here, or the beginning of the driveway, so it prevents unauthorized vehicular access to the site. There's a 16-foot wide gravel driveway running up, which then will access the solar fields up here. So here's the power lines running right through. This is the existing parcel over in here. We're not doing anything up in this area at all. This area down in here is the big beaver pond. This is the driveway they're going to come. And there's an existing crossing here right now, and there's a cart path that winds its way up. We're basically following that cart path and improving it to be a 16-foot wide gravel driveway, so that we can get up to the solar center. The rest of the activity in here is all going to be limited to what we have to do in order to do this crossing. So there's three approval pieces to this project. One is approve the subdivision, which is just this, so that this now creates 100 feet of frontage for the site, for the one parcel that's up there. The second piece is get approval for the solar site plan, which we'll talk about when we're done with this, which is basically where the solar piece of it is going to go. And the third piece of it is we need to file a detailed notice of intent with the Conservation Commission that addresses how this road gets built across this brook, this stream, the limited project across these wetlands where the existing driveway is, and then up into here. And that notice of intent is basically where we come to the Conservation Commission. We give them very detailed calculations on how much floodplain we have to fill to put the road in, how much we're going to give them compensatory floodplain over here to make up for that, how much wetlands we need to build over here to replace any wetlands that we may have disturbed in here, and then talk to them about the whole process, where our erosion control is going to be and how the whole thing works. How we're going to cross right in here, how much filling we're going to do there. In fact, we're not going to do anything over on this side. So it'll be a very detailed review of the stormwater piece and the wetlands piece of this proposal, which basically is talking about the driveway itself, the construction of the driveway itself. They don't have anything to say about the subdivision, but they have jurisdiction over all disturbance within the wetlands. And so that's what we need to go to them for. And that's the third piece of it that we'll be doing in the coming months. So tonight, what we're asking the planning board to do is to give us approval for this single lot subdivision. So this parcel of land can now be a legal building lot when it's combined with the one up above it, north of it. And then once we get that, then we'll talk about the site plan for the solar itself. So far, so good?
Yes. Any question?
Okay.
Now, this, you have brought us some revised plans, but this is the same as it was before? Is this the
Yep,
same?
the thing that's revised about it, if you remember in your last set of plans, the viewport stopped about in here. So it
Wasn't quite as wide.
wasn't quite as wide. And this is in response to Mark Wetzel's concerns. He wanted to see the entire driveway
Yeah,
talked about.
the driveway ended, and then we just saw the solar
The
side.
driveway ended, and then the solar one ended, and there was about
Piece missing.
200 feet of driveway missing. So we expanded this just to include the driveway up to here. And we've actually made a note that the end of the solar project is right here. So from here on, a solar project from here down is Rosewood Avenue subdivision, and the subdivision is actually just down here. This is the driveway. But Mark wanted us to show the driveway and be able to talk about the drainage for it. And that's what we will do when we go into the Conservation Commission.
Right.
So we'll address all of his concerns about stormwater and wetlands disturbance and floodplain effects, and he's got a sewer manhole that's in this area right here that he wants us to look at, and we actually think it's right at or above the 100-year floodplain elevation in this area, but if it needs to be raised another half a foot, that's certainly something we can do. But the sewer easement comes down like this, cuts across here, and then heads off in this direction. But that is currently underwater because of the beaver dam.
Right. Now, and to be clear, Mark just walked in for the viewing public's benefit.
All right.
But we did receive comments from Mark Wetzel and the DPW. You received them, I forwarded them to you,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
And I assume you don't have any problem with any of them? Is that safe to say, or you are
We can
too?
go through them if Mark, if you want to go through them all, or?
I'm just here because I'm waiting for another meeting.
Okay, never mind. In
I-
that case, never mind.
For entertainment purposes.
Mark,
All right. No, we don't have any problem with them.
I
We'll
just
address them all.
Okay, we don't have to address them all. They will be probably referenced in our decision
Yeah,
as long as you don't have any problem, we'll make
No,
sure they're covered.
we're fine.
Mark, I think FinCom got canceled.
Parks,
You're here for Parks?
yeah,
Okay, what time's that?
7:30.
7:30, all right. Well, you're welcome here. We're glad to have you. So I you've read through them,
We've
and...
read through them, yep. The existing sewer easement, we've shown that on the plan. One of
Right.
the comments that Mark makes is absolutely correct. We've got to remove the beaver dam, and that will be done as part of the project. It will be done by a qualified beaver remover.
Can you tell them not to build another one?
We can tell them. They don't often listen, but we can tell them. My understanding is there's not beaver activity in that area now actively. Is that the neighbors?
That's
I've
seen them,
You've seen them? Okay.
and there are many dams back there also, there's not just one. There's a lot.
Yeah, the only one we're concerned about is the one that floods this area in here. But that will have to happen as part of this project, and the applicant has agreed that would be part of the budget
Right.
for this project.
And, yeah, and yes.
That's a conservation commission
Exactly.
problem.
Well, yeah, and actually what happens is, the guy that does this will go to the Board of Health, and he'll talk to the Board of Health about the fact that there's a problem with the sewer system being inundated by the beaver dam, and there's lots of, what we call I&I, lots of infiltration going into the sewer system that the town is paying to treat, even though it shouldn't be, because it shouldn't be in the sewer system now. And so that's one of the discussions that he'll have with the Board of Health. Once the Board of Health says, yeah, you're right, it's a public hazard, or I don't think they call it hazard, I think they call it a risk, or they have a word for it. But in any case, then he goes to the Conservation Commission. There's expedited permitting with the Conservation Commission that allows him to trap beavers and take them off the site, and then the dams can be taken down and have that revert back to a stream bed the way it used to be.
Excuse me, you used a couple of terms that I didn't understand. What is going into the sewer system?
Water,
You
yeah.
said
Infiltration and
Inflow. It's really,
Yeah.
it's infiltration is what goes into the pipes. Inflow is like if someone has a sump pump and it's pumping into our sewer. So we look at inflow and infiltration. There's not an awful lot, but there is some, because our manholes are all underwater out there. This was a brook when they put in the sewer, and now it's a pond.
And it seems like there's some backyards here that have taken a hit along this area that are partially flooded that probably didn't.
20 years ago, I wonder why it wasn't considered a priority 20 years ago when it was doing it, but now it seems like it would be a reason to remove it.
I can tell you, I know that
Beaver pelts, whatever.
Remove,
there's always an issue of funding.
are we talking about the sewer line?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then this serves,
You can't just
Neshoba
use
Valley
dynamite
Hospital.
and blow up the beaver dam?
I don't think that's the accepted.
Yeah, just one second, let's, we'll finish up. I think the board doesn't have any questions. We're covered, we had a great presentation last time. So we will open it to the public. If you could provide your name, what would be your?
Susan Andres, I live on Doug Road.
That's great.
Sean Murphy from Doug Road.
There you go. Go ahead, go
All
ahead.
the question is, or?
We got Sean Murphy next, yep.
Okay, so I'm at 4 Doug Road, and I'm in that first property on the left-hand side, and my property abuts that pond back there.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about we want to remove the beaver dam and get rid of the pond. The pond's been there like 16 years. My kids kayak in that pond. There's all kinds of wildlife back there. There's blue herons, there's ducks, there's geese, there's turtles. There's all kinds of things going on back there. And if you put that extension back there and pull that dam out, that's all gone. I mean, I don't want it gone. I want to keep that pond there.
The existing conditions, looking at the USGS, show that there is a pond that sits back in here, but it wasn't to the extent that it is now.
That's true, yes.
So that pond is not going to go anywhere, but it's just the overflooding based upon
Yeah.
the additional height of the beaver dam.
Which has given me some nice waterfront property, which I enjoy with my kids and all the wildlife that comes along with it. So my question is this, no matter what, this dam is coming down and that pond will be eliminated?
Well, that's what we're talking about. It's my understanding that that's what DPW wanted to have happen as well, to protect its manholes. It's not an absolute necessity for this project to happen, because if this road gets raised a little bit above that and the new culverts get installed that allow free flow of water through here, then they probably didn't have to come down. But I think that's what we're talking
Well,
about, right?
what our original plan before this came before the board was to put in a flow control device, which would not necessarily eliminate the dam, but would lower the water level.
Right.
Not so that it was completely dry, but enough so that our manholes were exposed. So it's, and I don't know exactly what the depth is, it's probably a couple feet we'd have to drop it to get our manholes exposed.
And a couple feet would do what we need to do in terms of putting the roadway through. the
So
driveway.
you could still have a pond there and just drop the water level.
A couple of feet in a pond, I'm sorry, Scott, you're seeing along Park Street. A couple of feet on a pond can take a diameter and shrink it to a quarter of the size. So, I mean, what he's talking about is valid. You know, what pond could be there could not be big enough to actually give him the waterfront property and activities that he has with the family.
You know, this would all have to be looked at and see, you know, if you're gonna look at just lowering it enough for our purposes or for their purposes, then we'd have to look at what are the actual water levels, what are the depths, and how much does it shrink it to drop it that much. You know, one of the other options from our point of view is we go in and we build our manholes higher, so now you have little manhole islands out in the pond.
Well, that's an option
But
for us.
we would have to drain the pond to get it to be able to do that.
Question, did this used to be just a stream and then beavers came in and made a pond?
It used to be a stream with a pond further out.
Well,
Much
my
smaller,
question
much
is,
smaller pond, yeah.
was it
This area-
always a pond or did beavers make it a pond?
Beavers made it the pond that it is now.
Okay, so,
Size of the pond.
okay, so,
Actually, I have the history of that land from Mr. Woods, who was a.
except I wasn't done talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, this was just a stream, some beavers came in and made it a big pond?
Yeah, it's a small pond about this size over in this area, and the stream came down through here, and then the beaver dam set up, and that flooded the whole area larger again.
When we put in our manholes, was it dry? So,
Yeah, we were on the bank of the stream, basically.
all right, so back when we did our manholes and everything, it was a stream, beavers came in. If we had eliminated the beavers 20 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation?
True enough.
Am I correct? Okay.
I'll step this back a little bit. We are, again, just to keep us in perspective, this is, there's another layer, there are additional layers of approval after we approve this subdivision. What we are talking about just in this part of for this public hearing, we're creating frontage, we're creating a buildable lot. We're not necessarily deciding anything about the pond.
Ponds and
This will appear in front of the Conservation Commission. I think there'll probably be some more lively conversations there.
And I think there's some flexibility in how we do this too. I mean, if everybody, honestly, I didn't know how long the pond had been there, and I didn't know that people liked the pond as big as it was. It looks like it's encroaching on a lot of backyards and maybe taking land away from people, and typically people don't like that. But if the answer is that everybody wants to keep the pond, then maybe it does get dropped a little bit so that we get the manholes out of trouble and bring the driveway across at a little higher elevation with a little bit more fill and a little bit more replication. That's all we need to make it work. So it's not an insurmountable problem.
And then
we decided to stay as it.
And if I can finish the sentence, is once you go that way, put in a road, put in manhole covers, allow the water to come back up.
Yeah.
Would you actually like the history of the land now? Are you speaking or?
I'm sorry?
Would you like the history of what that property actually was now, or?
Sure.
Are you done talking? Okay. Mr. Woods told us that that actually used to be an area where they would flood it in the winter to harvest ice. And in the summer, it was a hayfield, and they used that hay to line the property of the old home that's back there, or building that's back there, to keep the ice for the summer. When they did that, that's actually what it was. That's what they did with that land originally.
So do you want to revert back to that? To
I'm
make it a
just telling
hayfield?
you- I'm just telling you what that was. And so that area has periodically, before our time here at the
It'd be very easy to
27 years ago, but that all the time, initially, the water level would raise and lower periodically for many, many years. You could walk across it sometimes. sometimes it was completely wet, it was intermittent for the first. So I would say from like 92, 93, 94, 95, all of those years, that's what it used to do. But way prior to that, when ice was harvested that way, that's what that meant.
So I would say, I see Jim Fay's hand. Why don't we go to Jim Fay, please?
Susan, you finished?
I am, thank you.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, Jim Payne, One Victor Drive. Initially, my main concern is when I see a impervious surface going from Rosewood up to the solar. But my first question is the solar facility allowed as of right in the A2?
It is not designated anywhere in our zoning bylaw. We have checked, this is something that we established at our previous hearing. This has gone to town council. Massachusetts statute provides for an exemption for solar use in all zones. Our existing zoning bylaw
The
does.
exemption has to get approved first of all. I got about a three-part question.
Okay.
Anyway, we need an exemption there, the town, or the subdivider. Is the, let me think. Water, when you displace it like that, goes somewhere, it's gonna go somewhere. Now, I've been down there about 30, 35 years. And I don't know if everybody knows it, but on Mark Street, Mark Street, there's also a little pond that kids used to skate on years ago that still probably bubbles up every once in a while. And that water, over between what the beavers do and whatever Mother Nature does, that rises and lowers also. I'm thinking initially that, if you pave that much of a surface, the water's gonna go somewhere. And it may bubble up on the Mark Street side. I personally didn't get an abutters notice, but that's a matter of side. Also, I would ask the planning board, is it your policy right now to hold on any subdivision approval prior to the outcome of the Concom and the notice of intent? That will obviously answer a lot of these questions going forward.
Right, and I'll start from the rear. We generally, this board, as long as I've been on the board, 5 years now, has approved subdivisions conditionally upon Concom.
Right.
So it's not quite the same thing. The applicant does not have to return to this board, assuming they got all their.
Subject to.
Yes, subject to. Second, I think if we could clarify the extent to the paving, I think there may
Yeah,
be
it's
some.
we're not proposing a pavement. We're proposing taking this cart path that was essentially gravel, widening it, keeping a gravel surface all the way up to the site. We're not proposing a paved surface.
So what's going to occur at the end of Rosewood?
Rosewood drops down this way, so there'll be no flow going that way. It's all flowing back into the site to a low point right here.
So whatever you're putting on the subdivision is not going to have an impervious surface?
No, there's not going to be any pavement. No, it's going to be gravel driveway. And it's strictly a 16-foot wide driveway. We're not talking about a roadway. It's a driveway to access one single lot. And we've asked for waivers so that we didn't have to build the roadway that you normally would build as part
Okay,
of the
so it's not traffic to the facility?
It's access to the facility only, and once the facility is built,
Right.
it's like once a month, a pickup truck will go up there to check on it, maybe clean off the panels with plain water. But that's it. Otherwise, this gate stays locked and there's nobody accesses on the road unless you're pedestrian.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The last piece here that I'll talk about a little bit is Chapter 48, Section 3 is the section of the zoning act that also exempts things like churches and daycare centers, where it allows it in any zone. You cannot say no to it, basically. You can put it in any zone, any parcel of your property in your town. And solar was added to that a number of years ago. And basically what it says is you can't prohibit nor unreasonably regulate. And what its town council determined, and we totally agree with, is that site plan approval is a reasonable method of regulating solar. It's a degree to which any other normal commercial development would be regulated to. It doesn't say yes or no, you can do it or you can't do it in a particular zone. It just says it's allowed, but the town still gets to rule on how it's built and make sure the public welfare is protected and all the rest of it, which is what we're doing with this process. So it's actually an exempt use under section. It's exempt from zoning. That's what I'm trying to say.
Understood.
I think we have a gentleman in the front first.
John Andres, Tenberg Road. Why go through all this? Can't you just use the path that goes underneath the high tension lines?
Well, basically, that's where we're gonna put the driveway, but
But why go down Rosewood? Why not just go off the road and go under the power lines like they do now?
because the power lines are on an easement, so the power lines may run contiguously all the way out to the road, but it's over different pieces of pieces of land, parcels of land owned by other people. So we have no right to access our property through somebody else's property just because it was an easement.
Doesn't National Grid own that?
No, they own the easement over it. They don't own the fee interest in the land.
They own
Just like this. This is part of this property. It's owned by this person, but they have an easement over it to put the power lines through it.
Think of it as this way, they have permission to use it from the landowners.
And they actually have permission from the landowners to say what happens under it to a large degree as well. We've been in touch with National Grid. They don't have any problem with the driveway going under it, but we can't put solar panels under it. We can't build a house under it or anything like
Is there another route besides going that way?
that. Believe me, if there was, we would have taken it. If there was any other way to do it, we would have done it. But no, sir, there's not.
So this driveway,
In the back, there's a lady with her hand up.
Diane Fox, I live on Vernon Street, the first house off of Rosewood. Where's the rail trail in this? Is it gonna get involved in this at all?
The rail trail is back over here. When we go to the solar site, it abuts, the solar site actually abuts a portion of the rail trail on its narrow dimension. But what we're talking about down in here does not involve the rail trail.
Okay, second question, if everything gets approved and this is built, is all the construction equipment, everything gonna come through that at the end of Rosewood? Is that how everything's gonna get in there?
Most likely that's how it's gonna get in, because there's just
Well,
not a lot of other places.
So as a person that has lived there for 20 years, and one of the selling points of our 6th Street community is that if you don't live there or visiting there, there's nothing going on there. So now you're talking about months and months, however long it takes, constant traffic, constant noise, constant people in and out.
Well, I'll give you some good news and bad news. The bad news is, you're right, it'll be several months. It'll take to build it, and there will be traffic coming through here, but the construction is up there, not down here. So all they're doing is accessing it through here. They're not actually doing the construction in your backyard. It's not like, and it's not a noisy process with the exception of the, when they go to drive the post itself, which just takes a few days.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we are just talking about the subdivision now. We're step 2, and as soon as we're done here, will be the site plan. We'll take a look at the details like construction. If we could be patient. You have one more question here?
Yeah. Brad McCollum, Spain 12 Rosewood. So this road is all the way at the end of Rosewood? That's being put in? Or driveways?
This driveway is at the very end of it.
Very end of Rosewood. Nothing to do with the power lines?
Oh, I'm sorry?
It's not going down the power lines at all?
No.
Okay.
No, we cross the power lines right here where it's shown to get to the land on the other side of the road.
What's the solar gonna benefit?
We can get
Where's
to.
it going?
If we could, let's close out the public hearing for the subdivision, and then we can ask that question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to keep us in line here. Are there any further questions from the board?
No, I'm good.
Now, so I'm going to entertain a motion. Do you have a date on the latest set of drawings that I can reference?
Today's date would be the latest.
Okay.
2/18/16 would be the latest. Not every sheet was revised, but the latest revision is 2/18/16 on several of the sheets.
Now, given that the approval of the subdivision is subject,
Yeah, 2/18/16, I see it.
subject to additional approvals from Conscom. You're going to go through that process. We understand that. I'll entertain a motion to approve the latest, the definitive subdivision for a single lot development of Rosewood at the end of Rosewood Avenue extension, and dated today, which is the 18th of February. Can I have a...
So moved.
So moved. Can I have a second?
Second?
Any further comments?
Mr. Chairman, is that also, that approval would include the waivers we requested for not building the roadway?
They are listed.
We had listed them with our application.
Yes.
Just incorporate that as well.
So they're not in the drawings.
Road width?
Everything. Per our-
They do.
just Say per our application.
Per the application, will
Per
include
the
that text
application.
as part of the written decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we will include that in the decision. So we are
So moved.
so moved, we're seconded,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? No nays, so the subdivision application has been approved.
Now we'll talk about the site.
And we're going to move now to the site plan discussion for, yes ma'am?
Susan Andres from Doug Road again. So you just approved, what was just approved there?
We have just approved the application for a definitive subdivision. The land is now, can now be filed at the clerk as a single lot.
Subject
It's a buildable
to-
lot. It's now buildable for the well, for the.
Subject
for the-
to
Subject to approval by the conservation.
conservation and,
And the residents of the neighborhoods have,
No say.
no say in this? So.
You just did. We just had a public hearing. We have had a public hearing. You've had your comments.
Uh-huh.
And actually, in this, yeah, they do have certain legal rights as far as the subdivision of land. I didn't, I mean, were there any objections, to be honest? I mean, we had some questions. I didn't hear any
I
objections.
object.
Well,
I don't know.
Well,
I guess the question is, we're kind of mixing the site plan and the solar and
Yes.
beaver with
Again.
the technicality to create a legal building lot. All we've done is create a legal building lot. We haven't got permission to put solar in, we haven't got permission to cross the wetlands or to put the driveway in or to raise or lower the pond or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's all down the road a little bit.
But
And,
if you don't get to that part, then you can't have the rest.
oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
So I object to it being a
There
building
wasn't a
lot.
person in this room out here, Dan Swan, Felt Park Street, that was positive towards this.
But it's not, it's a technicality, it's a right of any person who's got a 36-acre property to be able to use it for something, and that's all this says, is now it can be used as one building lot. So somebody someplace could use it for one purpose, whatever that purpose is, and that's, you know, and the landowner's entitled to that, that's just plain land use, and a neighborhood can't prevent somebody from using their land, but
No, but we're not preventing them from using it. What the subdivision did was give them the 100 feet of frontage to be able to build a driveway and do whatever they want. Doesn't mean they can't go walk around their property.
no, but it does mean.
If you own land,
Does
doesn't
mean-
mean you have to be able to build on it.
Well, if you got a 36-acre parcel of land, you're pretty much guaranteed that there's
Pretty
not a
much.
planning board in the state that'll tell you you can't use it.
But
Yeah,
again,
let's-
you can
let's-
use it to walk on it, you can fish on it, if there's a pond on it, you can do all that.
I'm sorry, no,
We never,
So you're getting,
as a community, never agreed that we were okay with the driveway going in.
right, and we haven't got permission to put the driveway in yet, we haven't got permission to put the solar farm in yet, and we haven't got permission to do really anything.
But you just
So-
approved it.
We approved a single building lot. This is now a legal building lot, that's all it is. It doesn't say what we can do with it, it doesn't say how we can do it. Now, we're gonna talk about the solar farm itself, which is an allowed use, which the town can regulate, but the town cannot prohibit.
all right.
Yeah,
And
there was-
one minute, please, sir. Mr. Fay's hand was up.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would try to relieve the angst in the room, because the subdivision approval is separate. It's just like if I wanted to divide my lot in half and do something with the other half. That's the only thing that this vote just did. It allowed the owner of the property to subdivide his property. Now, all of our concerns need to be pointed toward the site application process, which is
Next.
apparently going to be next.
That's next.
So we need to move on from that. The subdivision approval in itself doesn't hurt anybody.
So it's a two,
As of right by the landowner.
It is absolutely as of right by the landowner. Let's be clear here. I mean, there's, you know, as you would have a right to do something similar if you own the piece of property. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to railroad anybody or run anybody over, but this is.
That's exactly what I'm saying, is I don't understand this process, so I wanted, just so did we slow
Okay.
down a little bit and to be able to understand what's happening.
So if I may, and I don't want to offend anybody, Basically, we took a piece of property which has lines around it, and we drew a circular line on it. That's all we've accomplished at this point. Now the battle begins.
Well,
Oh,
well, no,
I
it's-
shouldn't say
it's-
that.
Yeah,
But
now the-
it's
so now
he
the
still
person
has a
can
right
do
to
something.
do
They can do something with the land at this point, and we're not. Beaver issues, flooding issues, and things like that actually live in front of another committee.
That's yes, that's
They
what
live in front of the Conservation Commission, and it's how we feel about those issues are unrelated to can this be done under Massachusetts law. And the truth is, it can be done under Massachusetts law.
Absolutely.
You can't forbid the landowner from doing this with their property. So we've just taken that one small step. We've literally drawn that circular line on the map, and that's basically it. They got a long road to hoe at this point. So that's where we are, okay? Is that kind of clear?
Is that why we got the letters in the mail?
Yes, absolutely.
As an abutter, you should be aware of the process all the way through, and that's why it's happened.
Don't certain people get to, I know that people in our neighborhood have tried to do different things with their land also, and they were unable to. So what would prevent, I'm sorry, you had your hand up, what would prevent that from happening, this process?
Our zoning bylaw would, as far as the use of the land, although we haven't gotten there yet. What has just happened is allowed under our zoning bylaw, is allowed under statute, and is regulated by our subdivision regulations. And they've met all our requirements, with some exceptions. I mean, and there are a list of exceptions that were part of the application, it's part of the packet. But essentially, the exceptions are, they're not building a road, they're not building sewer, they're not putting in streetlights, they're not providing what we might otherwise require a developer to put in a subdivision if for houses. This is an unusual situation. Again, there was another route they could have chosen. They chose this route, and simply, in order to comply with our subdivision regulations, they needed to establish 100-foot frontage, and we thought that was, we as a board think that's a reasonable thing. And we have voted, and the subdivision has been approved. We're going to close the public hearing, and then part two, again, of this is to look at the actual application by the developer to install solar panels, if you bear with us. So I'm going to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second, please. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. So we will now move on to the discussion of the application titled Site Plan for the Ayer Solar Project. I'll bring it up on the screen, and if you would.
Just something real quick.
Yeah.
None of my close neighbors got the notice, just to be clear.
Now,
That would be the neighbors who got the right across the street.
these, well,
Well, the notices were sent out based upon a list from the assessor's office.
yes.
These are the green cards.
Yep.
We have certified abutters list. That's what we're required to notify. So I'm sure there's people in the neighborhood that aren't within
Abutters.
300 feet of this property that didn't get noticed. But that doesn't mean it can't be a public hearing. It just means it didn't get notice under the law with the requirement for the notice. Was.
Right, just to be clear, as part of the statute, the applicant does need to go to the assessor's office, does need to receive from the assessor a certified list of abutters, does need to send out notices. We actually, there's a little bit of a glitch, the notices hadn't gone out for it, so this has been extended so that abutters could be notified. So yeah, we did go through some exercise to make sure abutters were notified, so you folks would have.
Local newspapers?
Yeah.
And
It's also done in local newspapers 2 weeks in advance and 1 week in advance per law. We've got the bill for you.
Our neighbor that was closer to where this is gonna be happening wasn't notified. So,
I really, I mean, if that neighbor has a concern, they can come see us, I'm sure.
What's the neighbor's name? Let's just look at the green cards, just because he doesn't think he was notified, and maybe he was.
But it's all based upon what the certified abutters list determines. That's what we're
cause I know you
required
have
to
to
do under
sign
the
the
law.
certified mail in order to get it back to
As
say
far
that we
as,
did receive it.
We did, again, the process was a little flawed for our original public hearing. We actually continued it. I was concerned that abutters hadn't been notified. So the notices did go out. And certainly, if anyone has any issues or complaints, they can certainly give me a call, and I'll check the list and see if they were on it, and if there's further concerns, we can pursue it. But as far as this board is concerned, the legal requirements of the statute have been met, and abutters were notified. And I placed the ads myself in the newspaper, so I think we are not, there are always mistakes and some imperfections, but I think we've met the letter of the law here. But I am open, if anyone has any complaints, my email address is always open to folks. So if we can now start to discuss the site plan application for the Ayer Solar project. Now this is, just to be clear, again, this is part of our bylaw allows for site plan review. This gives us an opportunity for the applicant to come before us, tell us what they're building, give us an opportunity to comment, ask questions, sometimes get some modifications. But gives generally the board a chance to understand what kind of development projects happen. So Al, give it to you, Calvin.
This is the Ayer Solar project we're talking about. If you look down here, this is the little frontage we just created. The driveway comes up, it crosses over the power lines, and there's a long thin piece of land here. It's actually a bigger piece of land, but there's wetlands in here. There's an area in here and an area up on this corner on the other side of the power line, where these two fields are where the solar arrays are proposed to be. That's just to get you oriented to the site. And this is just the topography, so that, just to talk about this a little bit, where the lines get tight together indicates a steep slope, where the lines are spread apart indicates a flat area. This is all wetlands in here. This whole area is wetlands. Power lines run right here. So we've got a flat area up in this corner. And we've got a flat strip of land coming down along here. Those are the two areas that we're talking about.
Could you point where the rail trail is?
Yeah, actually, this is the rail trail right over here. Comes off this corner right here. So this end of it abuts the rail trail.
And
Could you just say where are the roads, the physical roads for that neighborhood on that map?
It's not actually shown on this map. It's way down in this area here.
Oh, okay.
and to further orient you, the hospital is up here.
I'm on,
Yeah, so Rosewood Mark, and that's basically down here, feeding
Right.
up.
So here's the driveway coming down, and the end of the little bulb that we just did is over in here, so then the housing development is over in this area.
thank you.
So they're quite a ways from where we're talking about doing this. You can see the solar arrays are in this light gray, and I maybe a little bit for you guys to see it.
Next page.
It's right here.
Yeah.
It's the little ghosting lines
Right.
that run across it.
So each of these is a solar array, and what it is basically is a set of racks that hold the panels at a 30-degree angle facing south, which is in that direction. Faces due south. So each of these lines coming across here is a set of arrays. You get it to a steep slope, a flat area down the bottom, a steep slope, and then more arrays over on this side. So they confine to those two strips of land only.
And is that on the other side of the power line?
Yes, it's on the north side of the power line.
And so would they have to take those woods down that are down there?
The woods here,
Area?
in this area, south of the power lines? No.
So the rail trail is here, the power lines are here, and you're to the, I don't know, you're above that? is it?
Yeah, we're,
Yeah.
you know, above the power.
So that's still wooded area there?
Yeah, so there's your rail trail. This whole area in here is all wooded. We're gonna cut just enough to put our driveway through until we get underneath the power lines. So this all stays right the way it is, other than just improving that driveway a little bit. Power lines stay right the way they are. We run a driveway up this slope here, up this slope here, and then of course, the area where the solar panels are themselves is wooded, that's gotta get cut, obviously we can't have that, but then this slope stays wooded and undisturbed in here on this area. So the edge of our tree line roughly runs like this. So this area would be, have the trees removed, this area would keep the trees, all this area keeps the trees. And then again, up in this area, there'll be trees in this slope, this one across here and then back down.
Where's 111?
I'm sorry?
111, where is that from?
111.
The road, 111?
The main road?
Groton School Road.
Way over there.
Yeah.
Long ways over there. So it's really, aside from the rail trail, it's really kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is why we picked it. We're not abutting any residential properties, we're not interfering with anybody's property values, we're not doing any of that stuff, we're just kind of tucked out in the corner here of the world.
I'm just worried about the slippery slope. Mark, you seem to be a little annoyed up there, and I'm sorry if my questions are annoying or disturbing anybody on the
No, I don't,
board.
you're not
Being
annoying
new to
anybody.
this process and wanting to make sure that we're not getting buffaloed, you know, I
No,
just want
that's
to
fine.
make sure, so, you know, I want to make sure you're okay over there with the fact that I'm going to ask questions because I feel it is my right to ask questions.
Absolutely.
Sure, go
If
right
I
ahead.
don't understand the process of how it's done in this room and in this forum, please just explain it to me.
Of course.
But I want to make sure that, you know, this, you know, grain of sand does not turn into something that is, you know, monstrous. I support solar power. We've investigated putting it in our home and having a solar farm, doing it that way because of our property. I just want to make sure that this doesn't turn into something else without our knowing.
That's fine, and
Like you would want to do behind your home or anybody else would want to make sure that it's done behind.
to address that for you, the subdivision was approved for a single lot, which would allow us to build this. So you can't have two uses on a lot if it's only a single lot. You can only have the one use, which is going to be this. So if we decided we wanted to put a house up someplace, and quite honestly, I don't think we have room for one anywhere, it's not wetlands anyways, but if we did, that would have to be a whole new subdivision process. We'd have to come back before this board, notify you all, say we want to create another lot out here, we're going to put a house over in the corner, and to tell you the truth, the size of the upland on this site is about, it's off the sheet, but it's about that big. That's the only size that's not within 100 feet of a wetland on this whole site down here. It's about that big. So there's nobody going to be putting a house on it anytime soon. We're not running any utilities over here. We're not running any sewer or any water. The driveway is going to be gravel. It's going to have a gate on it. So really, there's nothing else that could happen here beyond the actual solar installation itself. And once the installation is done, and once the construction is done, several months worth, once it's done, then you'll have somebody come in here once a month to check on it, to look at the fencing, to make sure everything's intact and everything's being taken care of. You'll be in a pickup truck, you'll drive up, you'll drive back, you'll lock the gate and go away, and that's all you'll hear. There's no noise associated with it, there's no glare associated with it, there's no magic rays or anything. Believe me, I've heard them all. I've done a lot of solar installations. I've heard about all that stuff. None of that works, okay? They put them right next to airports because there's no glare. They're quiet. There's an inverter down here.
Transmission lines are loud.
The transmission lines are actually louder than any noise these things make. So it's a very benign use. Once it's there, and it's just very benign. It's quiet.
But it's fun.
The land is now occupied, nothing else can happen to it. It's a 20 or 25-year lease. So basically, that's what it is for a long time. And the virtue of this project, from your standpoint, if I lived in a neighborhood, what I like about this is it ties up this whole piece of land. Just like it ties this up. It's got this all tied up for 20 years as well. Because it basically has to preserve this, because this is the frontage that this project up here needs in order to exist. And once you build it, you can't go in and take frontage away. You can't go in and say, okay, now that that's built, I'm going to use the frontage for something else. It doesn't work like that. They say, no, create more frontage, do another subdivision, And quite frankly, there's just so much wetlands on this site, it's just not worth it. There's nothing there that would pay the cost of putting a road across there. You need to get 10 house lots in order for it to pay the cost of it, and there's no land to do that.
Excuse me, Cal, where does the solar farm get tied into the grid?
Right down here, there's a transmission line running right along, probably about 25 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, this
No, well, actually, yeah, it goes along the rail trail.
goes along the rail trail right there. So it's gonna tie in right there, that's what makes it so perfect, is
So there's no
it ties in
poles.
right at that point,
So
right
no-
there.
No new poles or anything.
So you don't even have to run electricity down this driveway.
What is the
Mr.
acreage of
Swanfeld.
The acreage of that solar field itself, approximately?
The solar field itself is probably about 7 or 8 acres within the fencing around that. So we're talking about, I mean, this parcel here is 36 acres. How big is your parcel?
22.
22, so we're talking about 58 acres where we're gonna basically use 7 or 8 of it for the solar, and the rest of it's gonna remain undisturbed.
Yes, Mr. Fay.
Yeah, just for clarity, I'd like to ask the question, if I own that subdivision lot, you know, that you approved it, could I later apply for a change in use?
You could, you'd have to come in front of this board.
Thank you.
And I can't, you know, I
I
probably
just
won't.
wanted to clarify that. I know
You
where
have
you're
to take
going,
the solar out.
but
Yeah.
things can change.
Things can always change,
Sometimes do.
and you could go in front of the zoning board of appeals and do a lot with your own lot.
Change in use.
The zoning board of appeals rarely, just for, and this isn't political, they rarely change, variances in use are very rare in zoning.
But just for clarity, I want to not let anybody walk
No.
away thinking this is absolute. It's not.
Yeah, but it couldn't be a change of use without taking out the solar.
That's true. I'm
Okay,
just-
all right.
Well, that's what we're,
Right.
if I'm guessing Susan's point of view is that, look, we don't want to approve something now and have it change later. We've seen that happen in other places by way of a change in use. So I just don't want someone getting up saying, no, once we do this, it's final, nothing.
And yes, I don't want to deceive you. Anything could happen. We could have a different board here and a different application it's unlikely.
If I could address that.
Just to clarify.
Yep.
Sure, you're absolutely right. If they wanted to spend the money to take out a $5 million solar project in order to build a house, they could probably do that. Because it's only been submitted, it's only been approved, remember, for a single building lot. So if this came out, then it reverts back to the underlying zoning, which is residential. So if somebody came in, took this all out and put a house up there, they're allowed to do that, because we've created a single building lot, but it's a single building lot. So if you wanted to put 10 houses in here, take this out and put 10 houses along here, then it would be back to the planning board, file a whole new subdivision plan. Now, instead of where I created enough frontage for 1 lot, I've got to create enough frontage for 10 lots. And I've got to draw lot lines all the way up here, and I've got to build a road all the way up here, and we're talking about a couple
Yes.
thousand feet of road to get up here, and it just doesn't work.
And you gotta convince people to live looking at power lines.
And you got to cross under them to get to your house.
Yeah, Calvin would have already done that if he could do that.
Most likely.
I was on TV.
So the economics step in too, and it just doesn't make any sense from a financial standpoint to do it. But even if somebody wins the lottery and that's where they wanted their mansion, they could do it, but it's for a single lot. If it's for any more than that, it's back before the board, and it's a brand new process. It doesn't piggyback on this process, it's a brand new process.
And it also has to go to conservation.
Sure.
Building a
Remember,
road, bringing
yeah.
in utilities, bringing in sewer, bringing in electricity, all that's, conservation is gonna have much different.
And we're only gonna get permission to put a 16-foot wide gravel driveway, which will not service houses other than a single house. So if we were gonna create a road, we'd have to build a paved road, 24 feet wide if we can get the waiver to reduce it from 30 feet. Bring it across here, create enough so that every lot had at least 100 feet of frontage on that paved road. Deal with the drainage from that paved road, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, we looked at this land, this is a great use for it. Or a single house, but that's about it.
Who benefits from the solar?
Who benefits from it?
In terms of what aspect, so the town would be getting, I guess what I say, the town of Ayer will be receiving, because the solar is considered personal property, basically the town will be getting personal property tax, whatever the tax rate is, we'll be working to get a tax piece, and then also the town gets from the permitting perspective. If you're talking about the electricity, if that's what you're referring to, typically we sell electricity to, right now we're looking at low income housing, we'll be maybe purchasing the power, or basically it could be like a community type of solar project where at that time, if we do the community, we may be opening up to individuals within the town of Ayer who maybe wanted to subscribe to the actual project.
Would our area be first notified?
If once we get down this process and moving down, yes, I can make that a kind of notification if that's something of an interest. That's not a problem. I've done it before. We've had town hall meetings, and invited people to see if they wanted to subscribe or not. That's not a problem.
But it's not an inconsequential amount of taxes either, it's really substantial.
Well, it's currently, I imagine it's probably better than what we're taking from
Oh, I imagine it's
Caulfield as it is right now.
Probably.
Now, I know the questions come up, what can happen to the property later on down the line? But I picked up on the fact that you said this is a 20 or 25-year lease on solar panels. What happens at the end of that lease?
Good question. Yep.
At the end of that lease, we basically come back to the planning board and do another site plan approval if we're gonna do anything different than exactly what's there.
So even in 20, 25 years, if they want to continue solar, do they have to come back before the board?
No, at that point, no. The site plan approval is for that use.
So,
But it's within these boundaries.
and one of the things this is a continuation of a hearing from 2 weeks ago, just to be open and honest with everybody. And one of the questions we have is decommissioning, who's going to pay for it? What happens if the investors are no longer there? There's surety bonds. I don't say that correctly, but there are ways to financially protect the town from the fly-by-night power guys disappear because it's a better project, there's a better deal out there. They're in the game with a lot of money, a lot of skin, and we don't want them, and we want to make sure the town is also protected. So they need to come back to us with that, and I imagine we're going to see that information now about what it's going to take to pull it apart, should that come to that end. You were talking last week, and you talked 2 weeks ago, the life of a solar farm is...
Typically, the life of the panel is more than 30 years.
Yeah.
Typically, we design these things between 20 to 25 years. This one is a 25-year agreement. After the 25 years, we could extend for another 5 to 10 more years. And again, the panels still produce power. It's just not, after 25 years, the panels reduce their efficiency by like 80%, like 20% only. So any panel after 25 years, it still produce 80% of the power that it would have done as of today. So still a lot of electricity would be generated from it. So we don't foresee typically pulling out the panels after 25 years. We would just, the plan would be to extend it for potentially 5 or 10 more years. Again, everybody, as you guys probably see in your electricity bill, it's changed over the last 25 years. The prices have gone up, prices have come down, prices recently have been going up significantly in the territory. So these are the things we would always, these are the decisions we would look at 25 years from now.
I'm Bonnie Tillotson. I just need to make a comment. In 25 years, the technology will change quite dramatically, and you might even get, more efficient solar and more energy and, less, right, more cost to.
That's a good point. I mean, in 10 years, it may change enough where they can justify going and replacing panels with more efficient panels.
Yeah. But the way we model everything, we don't foresee, even we know efficiency increases like you said, every 5 years it definitely increases, but based on what we've seen so far, we don't foresee the next 15 years we would come in, even with the predictions, what we're seeing, we don't foresee us to clear out all the panels and do brand new panels again, because it's just because of economics.
Right, but
Have to pay back.
and again, we visited this subject at a recent plan, and we anticipated this. We will ask that you produce some sort of decommissioning plan.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so you did request that. I kind of have a draft copy for the decommissioning plan of how we would present it. This is very similar to some of the other projects that we've
Super.
done in other towns.
Mhm.
And also, you want to go through it now, we can, or address more
Actually,
questions
another question.
regarding about.
Yes, we'll get another question. Why don't you,
Regarding the calculation and methodology for that surety bond. You asked that
yes.
from the last time as well. So I kind of drafted up, again, from how we can calculate that surety bond financials.
Yes.
And I've also provided an example of what that calculation
Perfect.
would look like for this particular project and the cost removal and so forth.
Perfect, and I think what we will agree to do as part of our site plan approval is to work with you to make sure the town's interests are met. Yes, yes. And that's, it'll be in the minutes, it'll be part of the site plan approval that I come up with. So if you could leave those with me, and we can talk about those offline. As long as we got them covered, that's great.
Obviously technology changes, but that brings up another question. 5-10 years down the line, you guys create a solar panel that generates 100 times the power of the solar panels going in. Is there anything stopping them from going in 5 years from now with all the trucks going through that driveway 5-10 years from now? Because we were just told that traffic was going to be initial in the first couple months and then 1 truck a month, but 5 years from now, if they decide they want to upgrade the panels, now that traffic is going 100% constant to do the upgrades.
That could happen. I mean, that's the same as, the same right as any other property owner would have. If you get a permit to build a new house on your property and it meets all the regulations, the trucks necessary to get that house done. Again, I don't, this is not when you're talking about the panels themselves, I mean, a lot of the construction is going to be tree removal, and there's not a lot of land
95% of construction is done
already, right?
at that point. So if you're replacing the panels, you've got some trucks bringing panels in and bringing the old panels out. It's a hand process to put them on and replace them. There's no heavy machinery involved. So it's a quiet process, other than the fact that they go in and do it.
I disagree with the amount of equipment going in to set up the panels. I mean,
Who's actually doing the panel project? What company is?
Like the contractor, that has not been
It
selected.
has been solved, okay.
We don't know who the
The
ABC is.
one that's going in Park Street behind me
Mhm.
has been Rentis. I don't know if the planning board's been out there to look at what they have out there.
I have.
It's,
and they're already putting up rails and solar panels and stuff, and there's still heavy equipment out there. So you just said that there won't be heavy equipment out there
Well, if they
when
were-
they're putting panels in, but there is.
No. I said if 5 years from now or 10 years from now, they go in to replace these panels, they would not need any heavy equipment to do it.
they're not gonna replace.
Yeah, because you don't need to
footings.
replace
The
the
post is
rack.
gonna stay,
Post.
the rack is gonna stay, it's just gonna be take one panel off, put the other panel in, replace it.
Unless they make a more efficient rack to hold more.
Unlikely, you gotta think about,
Unlikely, but it's still a possibility.
it's not really a possibility, because what you're talking about then is ripping out all the posts and racks that you've got in there to replace it, so you get an extra panel per rack. It doesn't pay, nobody's gonna do that. And what you're talking about is so highly unlikely anyway, and we're having this big argument about it. It's very, very unlikely that anybody's gonna change technology that radically, that quickly, that's gonna make it pay to go in and replace all these panels.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna happen. 25 years from now, yeah, it might.
Yeah, and as far as, I mean, as far as your concerns about the construction process and vehicles, I mean, we do, the drawings do spell out protections for road, protections for wetlands, as far as silt protection. I mean, there are further hurdles to cross as far as the Conservation Commission, as far as the building department. I mean, we do have laws as far as when construction can take place. But if the applicant is going to abide by those laws, I mean, it's not our place to say, no, you can't build what the law allows you to build.
So there's laws on what times they can be doing construction?
Yeah, we have some restrictions as far as.
I'd love to see that.
You can, I think it's in
4
the.
o'clock in the morning, they're on Park Street putting solar panels and bringing trucks through there.
Yeah, I mean, if you,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, there are avenues for complaints. You want to call the police department, you want to call the building department. If you have specific examples, you can take it up to the police department, sure.
And it's not the first time, by the way, that we've gone to a public hearing
And
where
heard
people
complaints
show
about
up
that
and
group.
talk about this other particular developer and how they do things. And the process itself, we just went through it in Barry, we had a much more difficult process because these guys have come in before and they just tried to steamroll everybody in the meeting, and they wouldn't answer questions and they wouldn't explain anything, and they just said, give me the permit, give me the permit, give me the permit. And it made it very tough for us to come in and explain to people what's going on. I mean, I've been in business for almost 20 years, and I've been an engineer either in Harvard for 6 or 7 years and then in Ayer the rest of the time with my own company. And so I'm here all the time, and I've got to answer people's questions, and I've got to make people comfortable that what we're doing is what we say we're doing. We're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes or do anything else.
And that project, I'll just say that that's a little different from this one. That Borrego Solar is installing that project. It's actually owned by National Grid, so that's there are routes for complaint there. If you could even complain to National Grid if you're unhappy with their
But
conduct.
it wouldn't surprise me that if National Grid has within their easement on that property the right to work when they want to. Just National Grid being what they are. We had a telephone pole in front of our house hit by a plow a few weeks ago. Last night, they started at 9:30, they finished at 1 a.m. Or at one point, 6 trucks. National Grid.
Mr. Chairman, if I could
Yep,
just say something, I'm
sure.
Calvin Moore, I'm
Yep.
the guy that owns 22 acres up there with Kyle Field, and I'm the guy that's buying the 36 acres from Woods. And our family has built over 250 units in this town, and I can remember when they built Doug Road, the people on the roads were in the Vernons, the Mark Streets, were at the hearings, concerned about the traffic, concerned about the construction, concerned about the noise. And everything is fine, and they provided nice homes, and people are living in them now. And from the 250 units that we've done in this town, we've heard it all. We're still here, our family's been in here for 100 years, more than that. So, I still gotta face everybody when I walk down the street too, and I think it's the right thing for this project. And I was in a butter across the tracks for that property for a long time. And one thing that drove me nuts every day and wasted months of my life was dirt bikes. It was out of control down there, and it basically couldn't do anything. Hopefully this is going to eliminate a lot of those things. And when you ask who benefits from the solar farm, every single person in this room benefits because it's less fossil fuels that are going into the environment. That's who's going to really benefit everybody. And the solar farms are the way of the future, and they're going to be going up. And it's the right thing to do. And I'm not sure if this is the right time to ask this question, Cal, but when I buy the 36 acres, I'm going to probably eventually end up donating a lot of that to the Conservation Commission. So do we have to come back and apply to make that into another lot and to go through this whole process again, or do we just draw that dark line on that plan now?
I think what we could do is we could come back and say, this parcel is not a building lot, it's being donated to the Conservation Commission. This parcel is not a building lot, it's being donated to the Conservation Commission. We're not creating frontage, we're not having asked for another building lot.
See, another thing too is that when, in the 60s, I used to skate that pond. It was a nice pond. It was nowhere compared to what it is today. And I'm not going to do it, but when I buy the 36 acres, I'm not going to go throw up no trespassing signs, no kayaking signs, no waterfront activity. I'm not going to do that. So, again, I'm in town to make this thing work. I live here, I love the town, I'm not moving. I want to do the right thing, and our family's donated a tremendous amount of real estate to this town and to other boards around here. So I think that's proof of the pudding that we aren't a fly-by-nighter that's going to rape and burn and pillage this property. Not going to happen. I own 70, between my son and I, we own 70 acres across the tracks. On the other side, the big hay field, the horse farm, and whatnot, the old horse farm. So, it's progress in life.
And thank you, Calvin. We discussed, we discussed putting some sort of guarantees in place, knowing what's going to happen at the end of the lifetime of the project, or if for any terrible reason you had to walk away from the project, so that we can put language in place to make sure the panels are removed. We still won't have any trees, but
There's funds available for.
Right, exactly. So that would be part of our discussion and negotiation offline. What we don't want is, to be stuck with a field of panels if they are useless and valueless and junk. So we want a mechanism for removing. So we'll work on that. That's something we've discussed and we'll put into place as part of the site plan approval. Another thing came up last week, and you do have a separate list of comments from Mark Wetzel regarding the site plan review. His comments were again, you have them, you don't have any disagreement with them.
No,
I-
no, no.
He did say generally he was concerned about visual impacts from the rail trail. We discussed that last time. We
did.
discussed, and I think we were all in agreement, that we might take the opportunity to put up some sort of educational kiosk explaining how solar energy works,
Be a nice addition.
or a sign.
A sign, yes.
A sign,
Sign,
yes,
right.
right.
Not like an electronic.
No, nothing electronic,
Standing outside.
but the idea
Part of
that,
the meeting, which was about signs, the new sign bylaws.
but the idea that,
Stand there and talk.
right, the idea that folks on the rail trail might be able to stop, they'll be able to look at some information explaining what this facility is and what it does, and I think we're in agreement, and we could put that as a comment on the
Yeah,
site
we'll
plan
have to
approval.
go through.
Well,
the
you would come up with,
signage law bylaws to
Yes.
verify that, or some kind of placard or something.
Yes.
That's true.
yes. And we did discuss now the fencing will or will not include, you see fences with these green stripes, these plastic stripes, so you don't see through the fences.
I would recommend not doing
Yes, that's
that
the-
because the fence is 7 feet high or 8 feet high. It's not gonna, as the hillside goes up and over, it's not gonna be tall enough to
Right.
block out your view of it.
Right.
And the problem with those strips, the Mylar strips between the fences, when the wind blows,
They come out, they rattle,
and they
okay.
make noise.
All right.
It's not really an ideal solution. We prefer to use a black rubber covered chain link fence so it can kind of fade a little bit into the background, but
Okay,
so
I'm-
it
I'm-
doesn't shine or anything.
right.
One less piece of plastic in the environment.
That's right.
Those mylar strips, the sun kills them over time.
So again-
They become brittle.
Given the discussion we'll have offline about a guarantee or some sort of plan for removal, and the signage that we've just discussed, those are the conditions we'll place on the site plan approval. Do I have any more questions or comments about this?
Just a question about the solar panels.
Yeah.
If you were to like jump on one, would you get electrocuted?
No.
There's no
So like
current.
if a deer jumps over the fence and lands on it, breaks it, he's not
Now,
gonna.
you would have to go to the connection, to the actual connection, and start ripping it apart and put bare hands on a connection to get a kind of a shock from it. Each panel doesn't generate enough electricity, and it doesn't generate on the surface, it absorbs it. And then there's wiring through the center of the panel that takes it off to a connection point. So, Rohit's the expert on me, but I know that there's no issue with that. And one of the things, they can monitor the efficiency of these things electronically over the internet, so they get an idea if there's something wrong out there, they'll send somebody out to take a look to see if.
Will they have security cameras out there as well?
No, there won't be a security, but that's the reason why we have a fence around it, so they keep people out and then keep the panels in.
There's no security measures really. other than
And
fence.
I've never seen, I have deers in my yard, and I've never seen anybody jump 8 feet tall, high.
Well, they can.
That's different.
No, they can.
First, Mark?
You'd have to have some reason to get in.
Just as far as the removal of the stuff, this is private property,
Yeah.
right? So,
That would be theft.
well, what I'm saying is, at the end of the period, if you guys say, okay, we're out, somebody's gotta remove it to do anything else on the
Right,
property.
yes.
Right.
So it's not gonna cost the town of Ayer anything to
No.
remove anything.
No, the security that he's talking about is in the case that the project is abandoned by whoever owns it.
Right.
So
Right.
if there's no responsible party there anymore, Calvin doesn't own it anymore. I mean, that's the nice thing about this, it's a leased project, so
Right.
you turn and look at him and say, what's going on, take him off. And if he can't do it, then you have the right to tap into that security as a town and remove.
And
those
remove,
things.
yes.
Why do we care?
I
If you
care,
wanna leave them there, go ahead.
well,
If Calvin wants them on his property, go ahead.
As long as they're
Leave them there.
generating
It's an
electricity, it's fine.
8-acre abandoned field of,
of panels, it's not,
Electricity
But
generating.
that's his property, it's not our property.
Right.
Doesn't cost us
but we,
anything.
as a board, we discussed this last time, I thought, actually, you raised the issue. I don't want those panels abandoned on that property. I'd
I
like
don't
to
want
see
them,
it,
but-
I would like to see it return to grass if, you
Yeah, I
know,
mean, it's
grass
pretty
is-
standard.
Yes,
Every
this is
town,
very, yeah.
every time we do it, it requires that. They all want to know that there's some mechanism so that if everybody in the world, and you know, why do you walk away from a 50-acre piece of land?
Right.
Right, it's not gonna happen, it's
Assuming
just,
somebody did, there's a
It
recourse.
happens, and you wanna make sure that.
There's a recourse for it, that's all.
and as far as conditions as well, again, back to Mark Wetzel's letter, there was a page 2.
We have drainage calcs for you here that we ran.
Gotcha. And what about number 7, the electrical transformer? What-
So that,
Yeah, so we're a little,
this is the interconnection point down in
Right.
this area.
Yes.
And we're showing the inverter is actually a transformer.
no, it's like a switchgear pad, right?
Okay.
That's where you're connecting everything directly to it.
But it's inside the fence.
It's inside the fence.
It's inaccessible from outside, and it's a locked cabinet, so it's not a security issue.
All right.
Nobody's gonna be able to bother it, and it doesn't
Sure
make
what-
any noise, really, so.
Okay,
You know, it's a low hum that's exceeded by the power lines overhead.
all right. So that's, relocation of that is not,
Yeah, that's not something we wanna do, and it's not something we
Yeah,
really.
because when it said security and safety, we were just wanting
it's
to make
inside the
sure
fence, yeah.
It's within the fence.
It's within,
so-
yeah. And his number 6, by the way, the stone diaphragm, we've revised that detail.
Okay, great.
Plans
Done.
to include filter fabric, now they're supposed to, I don't know how they got it, it got taken off.
All right.
Back on again.
Yeah, we've got another comment here. Yeah.
So, you guys talked about a fence around the whole thing, but obviously we've talked about a truck going up there and inspecting. Does that mean the gate is as high as the fence and not just a bar or a chain hanging that has to get
Oh,
unlocked?
it's a
for
gate
truck?
high as the fence, absolutely. It's a swinging gate that is the same height as the fence.
At the solar
At the
field.
solar
And
Not
field.
on Rosewood,
Yeah,
but
correct, no, at the solar
Yeah.
field.
At
It's
the
just
solar
about the
field. Yeah,
solar
there's
field
actually,
here, not the
there's a
driveway.
driveway entrance right there with a gate in that fence right there. And then they would come down, and there's a gate right down here as well.
I just to the gentleman's point, I mean, deer or whoever might, wander in there.
You can open the gate to get
That,
out.
that gate would have to be unlocked to physically get in, not
Yes.
just stuck under a chain or
Right,
something.
absolutely.
And we certainly don't want to encourage any access.
The other thing too, is it grass or is it
Yes.
sand?
Grass,
So they have to mow it?
yes. Yeah. So it'd be, and it's not once a week, it's
Once
twice
a
a
month when that
year.
truck comes in, they'll be mowing it.
Twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. Because the grass stays below, the panels are 30 inches off the ground. And then they go up from there about 8 feet, 8.5 feet. So if the grass doesn't exceed 30 inches, it may never get mowed. But if it does, then it gets mowed enough to keep it below that. And it's very infrequent.
Jim Fay?
Yeah, a question to the, back to the subdivision on the 100-foot of the lot. Is there any construction at all going on there, other than the paved,
There's two things happening. There's the paved drive, there's the, you got me saying.
no
There's
bumps?
this gravel driveway going through, and there's the culvert that's being replaced where the existing culvert is collapsed.
Okay.
Right,
But
remember that?
no construction of any Butler building or,
Oh, no.
okay.
There's no building on this.
And the gate. You're adding the gate.
The gate.
The gate itself.
We're adding a gate right at our property line
Yeah,
on the
that's
driveway,
just a.
which is just a bar gate or a triangle.
Okay.
Not intended to keep pedestrians out, only vehicles. But yeah, there's no construction. So basically just gonna look like a little driveway with a gate from the end of those. Not much different than what's there today. Except that hopefully it won't be flooded.
So no more questions from the board? Any more questions from the audience? Again, given this needs to go in front of Conservation, you've got another hurdle there. So Conservation Commission approval is required. We've got some conditions regarding signage. We've got a discussion to take place. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the conditions for the site, this site plan doesn't need to have the conditions of the NOI for this conservation.
That's right.
That is for the subdivision.
That's right.
portion of it.
That's right.
So make
Yeah,
sure
it's
you
not-
clarify that.
That's right.
Because the conservation has already reviewed this portion. of
You've
it.
already been in front of Conservation.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that we
Yes.
clarify that piece of it.
Right, the point being, we're not speaking for Conservation. If you've taken care of that, that's fine, but this does not cover your discussions necessary with Conservation.
But we do have removal,
We are gonna
security.
discuss security about making sure the panels are removed. And we'll have
Funding that.
Signage.
and we'll have signage regarding
Off the rail trail.
right? Educational materials off the rail trail.
We'll also have required signage on the fencing itself to let people know what's in there.
Like caution.
Stay out,
stay
that
out.
kind of stuff. But it's required.
And any comments that, again, the list from Mark Wetzel was very brief, but I'll look over it. So eventually the decision I'll write will include any comments from Mark Wetzel, but I'll entertain a motion to approve the site plan dated, today is February 18th for the air solar project as submitted with conditions as discussed.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, before you call the vote, just one last question.
Yes.
Is there a bond surety attached to the removal process?
Then that's what we
That's what we
discussed,
just
and yes,
discussed.
that's exactly what we're going to discuss offline.
Yes.
So that will be required.
Second?
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There are no nays. Thanks, everybody. This has been a useful process. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
If I could just make a comment before you leave too, we will look at the beaver situation and the manhole height and all the rest of it. We may only have to come up 6 inches or a foot to get above the existing water level. It would have to be taken down just because we got to put the culverts in under the driveway. That would require the pond to be drained, but if that's what everybody wants and it doesn't cause us any heartache, then I don't see any reason to do otherwise.
Town, make sure
But it's-
DPW.
Yeah.
Right.
DPW, we gotta get them involved, and this whole discussion will happen with the Conservation Commission when we go before them, because they're gonna be very concerned about where the water levels are. They may even like it up higher too, as far as I
When
know.
do they meet, excuse me, the conservation?
Next Thursday?
First and third?
They meet, yeah.
And I would add, if you're having problems with Borrego and National Grid over there, their construction, I don't know what stage they're in, but definitely call the police. That I thought they were they were eager to do that project. They did a different process. They went in front of the ZBA. They got a special permit. We had a lot of discussions with them, and they were eager to please. So if you're having, I definitely complain to the police and the building commissioners here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So definitely make some noise about that. I think sometimes the contractor does what he wants until somebody complains, so that might be helpful.
Everybody, you should know that you will get a notice for the notice of intent. You'll get another legal notice that will reference this. It'll say we're gonna have a public hearing. It may not be for a few months. It's not gonna happen right away. We've got a lot of stuff to work out, but you'll get a public notice. We'll have a public hearing upstairs with the Conservation Commission. We'll go through the whole presentation again. You'll get to hear it all over again. And we'll talk them through it and talk about what we came up with for a solution for the beavers. And at that point, you're free to talk and get your input. And the commission, this is a fairly complex thing, crossing a wetland, where there's floodplain involved, there's wetlands that we've got to replicate, there's the crossing itself, how that's done, the driveway, what elevation it's going to be at. So all those things are going to be in place. There'll be lots of discussion with conservation, and I think you'll have more than enough chance to hear what we're talking about and what we're proposing, and hopefully, our method of operating is we try to find a solution that makes everybody happy. So if it can be done and it's no skin off our nose to raise the road a little bit, and the commission's happy with that, and that's what everybody decides they want to do, we're looking for the easy way out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Skill.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I gotta get to work.
No nays? Thanks, everybody.